And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So this goes back into Genesis chapter 37, 9 through 10, which we'll cover here in just a second. I'm going to have to pull that up for you guys so you guys can see it. But let's go to Genesis 37, 9 through 10. Now, for those of you that don't know, remember that Yahweh created the stars, guys. The sun, the moon, the stars, and he gave them to us in Genesis chapter 1. So again, everything we read in the book of Revelation is coming from the prophets, okay? And not just the Old Testament, the New Testament as well. But I want to explain what this vision is that's being seen here, okay? So it says, this great wonder, remember, there are two wonders that happen here. The first one is the woman, which this is the good woman in Revelation, right? This is, we'll get to who the woman is in a second, but the other woman in the book of Revelation is the whore of Babylon. So this woman is clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now, these 12 stars represent Leo, which again, I'm not trying to get into astrology, but the lion of 12 stars, which is interesting. And then you have Virgo, which is the woman. And you also have under her feet Draco, which is the dragon. Okay. Now, many of you guys know that this sign or this particular part of the prophecy, some people have speculated, including myself, that it's happened once before. If you guys remember a few years ago, there was a star that was named the Child that passed through the womb of Virgo. Now, again, I don't want to get into astrology. I'm just simply telling you that these signs, which is what we're about to go through in Genesis, right? So let's read Genesis 9 through 10. Now, the backdrop to this is Joseph is dreaming. It says, and he dreamed yet another dream and told his brethren and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon, now listen very closely, and the 11 stars, because he's not counting himself, made obeisance to me. And he told his father and his brethren, now remember, this is highlighted in yellow because at the time his brethren didn't like him very much, right? They sold him into the Ishmaelites, and the Ishmaelites take him into Egypt, where he then becomes royalty. And it says, and his father rebuked him, and he said unto him, what is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall I and your mother and your brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves unto thee to the earth? And his brethren envied him. But his father, now listen, Jacob was very wise. His father observed the saying. Now, again, in the book of Jasher, and by the way, our 66 book canon references Jasher, I believe 2 or 3 times, right? It's mentioned in Joshua or about Joshua where it says, is it not written in the book of Jasher that the sun and the moon stood still? So now, I want to make this clear so that people understand what's going on here. In this context, in Genesis 37, his mother represents the moon, and his father represents the sun, and the 11 stars that he is seeing are a representation of his brother. So when we go to Jasher and we read after Joseph is grown up and they come back, right, there's a dual fulfillment to this prophecy. Number one, when Joseph is royalty and the famine comes into the land of Canaan and they have to go up, remember, they traveled up into Egypt from the land of Canaan. And when they got there, they were needing food. And remember, Jacob sends the brothers that sent Joseph into bondage. But when they get there, they don't recognize Joseph. He's grown up. He's dressed like the Egyptians. And keep in mind, this particular Pharaoh at this time was not an Egyptian man, right? This is why when Joseph gets married well, I won't go too far into that, but you guys know that the Egyptians, if you look into it, um, you're going to see that the very first pharaoh in Scripture was a Hebrew man, and so was this particular man. So what would happen is they would go from um, Egypt, which the capital of Egypt is Nope, right? And then they would go down into a place of safety and a land in Egypt called Goshen. Okay, so remember when Joseph is in Egypt, Pharaoh allows Joseph's family to bring sheep and all of these different things, with which the Egyptians at the time when the children of Israel are in bondage, um, they didn't allow those practices of the Hebrew culture allowed anywhere near them. In fact, they weren't even allowed to sit down and eat with them. Okay, so I'm trying to just point out some things because when Joseph's brothers get to Egypt, not only does he sit down and have a meal with them, not only does the Pharaoh at the time allow all of his family to come and dwell in safety, but this is a foreshadowing of the time of Jacob's trouble, right? Because while Joseph is here, um, I believe it's is it Pharaoh that has the dream? Um, No, sorry. Yeah. It was Pharaoh.
It was Pharaoh. It was also the prisoners too.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the dream though of the 7 years of famine and the 7 years of famine and then or 7 good years and then the 7 years of famine. So
Yeah, that was Pharaoh.
yeah. So what Michael was talking about though is Joseph was given the ability to interpret dreams, and there's a lot of foreshadowing. So I'm going to cover that briefly. When Joseph meets Potiphar and Potiphar's wife starts to try to get him to lie with her, that is a foreshadowing of us, Israel, playing the harlot. Um, and Joseph flees from that, being a righteous man, right? And then he winds up getting locked up because she rips his garments off, and then she says that he tried to do something to her. And then when he gets placed in the prison, Potiphar once again places Joseph in charge of the prison, or he would be like a trustee, if you will. So, in this scenario, there are two people in the prison with him that have dreams. One um, forgets, like Joseph interprets the dream for the one man, and Joseph says, "When you go before Pharaoh and you're released, remember me and tell Pharaoh to let me free," right? And then the second one, he does the same thing. The second guy, he interprets his dream and he says, "Remember me, tell Pharaoh to remember me." And so we see the first prisoner gets out and he doesn't mention a thing. And then Pharaoh gets upset with him and puts his head on a stake. That represents the Messiah when he was crucified. Okay. You have the thief, and then you have the other guy that rejected the Messiah. So remember, the second prisoner remembered Pharaoh and lets him go. So I could go into talking about all of the types and shadows, even for the Trinity people. Um, there's a type and shadow where Joseph is called into the throne room of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh says, now picture Pharaoh being the Most High and Joseph being the Messiah. Pharaoh says to Joseph, because Joseph was able to interpret these dreams and his wisdom was just beyond anybody that was around at that time. He says, Pharaoh says to Joseph, "Only in this throne room and am I, Pharaoh, greater than you, Joseph," right? And then he puts a gold chain on his neck and he puts him second in command, just like the father did with his son. And then on top of that, he said everybody in Egypt, when Joseph would come with chariots, had to bow the knee. Now, what's important about what we just read is in verse 10, the father, Jacob, says, "Shall we and your mother and your brethren indeed come and bow down to you?" This is the first fulfillment of this prophecy, right? So when they go in to get food from Joseph, they indeed bowed down to him, right? He was the Pharaoh, and they had no food. And remember, they were spit on and all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of things that happen between Joseph and his brothers while he's there in Egypt, but I don't want to focus too much on that. But I think that what I'm sharing now has a lot of significance too Revelation 12. Again, what was before will be again. Now, back to Revelation 12. Okay, so this fulfillment, again, just so you guys know, this fulfillment comes to pass because Joseph is a type of savior, right? He saves not only Egypt, but all the surrounding areas, Goshen and all of these other places. And then the land becomes fruitful even after, right? Joseph gives them seeds to start growing their crops after the famine. But I want you guys to think about something, and this is my opinion and my opinion only. The pyramids, if you've ever seen how they're built, I have two things that I would like to bring up. Number one, they say that there was an aquifer under it, and I believe the way that it was built and structured, the technology that we have today, I think people are a little bit shallow-minded in believing that there was no technology back then, because that's what the Watchers taught. The fallen angels taught the daughters of men, and then the daughters were then punished and turned into sirens. And when you look that word up, siren, it means mermaids. Okay, so that was like a punishment to the women. And then the men that did the same, they all become disembodied spirits, which is what we know as demons or evil spirits, whatever you want to call it. But just something to take note of there. But also, Joseph would have had to have a place to store 7 years worth of food and to keep bugs away from it, right? So when you look into how the pyramids are structured, they have this long shaft that goes all the way through it, almost like to put something on to where it can slide down and be stored, but also to keep people out and away from it. If there was like an uprising where people were trying to get food by force, those pyramids would have been, not only were they strategically built and placed in a very particular spot, but they would have had to have been built with someone with knowledge. Now, whether or not giants were a part of that building or the fallen, I don't know. I'm just giving you my opinion on that. But I think it's very interesting to take note of the fact that where would Pharaoh, or even Joseph for that matter, because Pharaoh put him in charge, where would they have kept all of that food? Think about all the people that needed food for 7 years long. So just something to consider. I'm not going to go into too much of that. All right, now let's go to Deuteronomy. Now, also, sorry, I forgot to read verse 2. Let's go back to Revelation 2. Now, this is important because a lot of people believe that this man-child that's about to be spoken about here is the Messiah, but the context for that being the Messiah just doesn't fit. We'll get there in a minute. It says in verse 2, and she, the woman, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered. Now, when we go through all the prophecies, guys, we know that there is this woman that is spoken about over and over and over again that's travailing and ready to give birth. Now, also, and just quick side note, let's go to Matthew 24. The Messiah, when he's talking to his disciples in here, he clearly says something very important, right? He says in verse 7, for nation, which means ethnos or race, race shall rise against race and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, and all of these are the beginning of sorrows, or aka birth pains. And you guys know that we've done this before where we cross-reference everything from verse 3 all the way down to verse 10 is literally talking about Revelation 6. It's a side-by-side comparison of when these nations are sent out. As a matter of fact, let me read this part just to add more context to Revelation 12, because this is about those nations, right? It says, and Yeshua answered unto them, take heed that no man deceives you. This is the very first thing he says. So who would be deceiving us? Well, the people that we're warned about in Revelation chapter 2:9 and 3:9, right? For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Messiah, and shall deceive many. Now, this goes for all of the harlot churches that are teaching a false Messiah, right? Not saying that our Messiah is not real. We believe in Yeshua, right? However, there is a false Messiah that is preached behind every pulpit. You don't have to keep the law. You don't have to keep the Shabbat. None of those things, right? And this is the deception. That's why he said, take heed that no man deceive you, because we're told by him to go directly to the word, which is the Father's word, right? And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all of these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Well, let's look at Revelation chapter 6 really quickly so I can give you guys like a side-by-side comparison of how this prophecy is unfolding. But this isn't the first time it's happened, right? It says, so John is here, and he hears, as the Lamb opens one of the seals, he heard as it were the noise of thunder, which is the voice of Yahweh, and one of the four creatures, this is a really bad translation, says, come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him had a bow. Now we know this is not the same man when on the white horse in Revelation 19. This is the false Messiah. And a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. So what did the Messiah say? There will be wars and rumors of wars. Here comes the division, right? And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second angel or creature say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should unalive one another. And there was given unto him a sword. This sword is the sword of division. This is why all the nations start clashing, and we see all of the things that are happening worldwide right now, right? Now watch. Verse 5, same thing. He tells the angel tells him, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat upon him had a pair of balances in his hand. And again, this gets interesting, because what did the Messiah say? He said that there would be pestilence, right? He said that there would be earthquakes in diverse places. And we know that there's going to be a shortage on not only a famine of the word, but a famine of food. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four creatures say, a measure of wheat for a denarius, right? And 3 measures of barley for a denarius. And see that you hurt not the oil and the wine. Now, Michael, do you want to expound on the oil and the wine, or anybody have anything to say at this point before I move on?
Sure. And the oil always refers back to the Torah and Exodus when it talks about the anointing, which is, hold on, I'll if you give me 1 second, brother, I'll pull that up for you. I've got it written down in my notes, so I don't have to.
I'll just read through 8, and then let me know when you're ready. It says, and when he opened the 4th seal, I heard a voice from the 4th creature say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed him, the locust army. And power was given unto them, see how it says them, over a 4th part of the earth. So people always ask, well, how do you guys know how many people are going to have salvation? Revelation tells us how many people are going to be taken out in thirds and sections, right? It says that this pale horse was given power to unalive with the sword, with hunger, with death, and, listen very closely, with the beasts of the earth. Now, going back to Genesis chapter 3, who are the beasts of the earth? We'll get into that shortly. Michael, go ahead.
The oil is always, whenever you see oil spoken about in prophecy, it represents the anointing, and always can be traced back to Exodus 30:22 through 29. The ingredients of the oil, which is flowing myrrh, fragrant cinnamon, and fragrant reed, and cassia, and olive oil. And these ingredients are very important according to the Hebrew text, because it doesn't just represent basic ingredients. They all words have a meaning behind them, and everybody should study them. So flowing myrrh is known as distilling drops to purify, and the fragrant cinnamon is upright rolls, and the fragrant reed is also the upright measuring, so you'll be measured. And then the cassia, which is the shriveled rolls as well. So the smaller text, the larger text, the distilling drops as you would distill water, and the upright measurements. And then the wine that's spoken about, which most of you already know, can be referenced back into Proverbs and Isaiah. They're drunken on bad wine is just bad doctrine. It's just that's why they're drunk and staggering and stumbling. So there's a difference between wine and strong drink and the new wine that's going to be presented in the last days, which you can also read in Joel chapter 1 in many different places. It's also all over the Apocrypha as well, and Enoch everywhere. That this new wine that's going to come forth, this new good doctrine, this anointing oil is not to be hurt or destroyed, is what it's speaking about in Revelation.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. And then we will expound on this. We're going to go into Joel chapter 2, Revelation chapter 9, all of that. But here's something that I want everybody else to see. Now, a lot of people misinterpret what this is talking about. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Yahweh and for the testimony which they held. This is why we are so passionate about our brothers and sisters in South Africa. The prophets tell us very clearly, guys, that our brothers and sisters in South Africa are going to be those who are holding back the locust army, and they will be the first to conquer the locust army and show the rest of us, the rest of the world, how they are to be defeated by the word. Again, that's how they have victory and power. This, they're also referred to as battering rams, right? So when our
Or the Debella as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no,
yes, the Debella battering rams. Are we going to go over the Locust Army or?
yeah, we're gonna cover as much as we can. But yes, I'm what I'm saying is when I see someone like Brother Jason and others that have that knowledge, this is why I get quiet when they teach. I'm silent. You want to know why? Because again, as I mentioned yesterday, and again, this is not to puff up Jason or any of the brothers over there that I've seen doing teachings. It's simply to say that this was prophesied, like we were talking about earlier, that they would wake us all up. Now, they have a special role to play. It's a different role than we have, right? We're waiting on the two witnesses. The two witnesses will then pull us out of Egypt, which is the spirit of Egypt is modern day America. Okay, so the spirit of Egypt will be pulled out of that, but it's not just about America. America in scripture is the West. However, the whole world is involved in what's going to take place here. So it's not just that. And again, we'll get into the Roman Catholic Church and the role that they play. They are just a part of this great harlot, right? They're like the backing of the harlot, and what all the things that have been altered and changed are a result of that, which we will get into. But this verse 9 is to me is it's dear to my heart, because for us guys, remember that land is waiting to receive us. And if you guys only knew how much um, they're no problem, brother. No problem. Go ahead and whatever you got. I know you said you were going to be doing yours at 12. But yeah, no problem. If I can catch you later, we'll catch up later. Um,
Also, I wanted to add to what you were saying there, if you don't mind.
yeah, go ahead.
Whenever you notice that you're reading through prophecy, you're going to notice two things. It talks about Egypt as in the west and Asher. Asher always represents the east side. But here's the thing, you'll notice it speaks upon Ephraim, a part of Asher, and also Ephraim, a part of Egypt. And just a little gold nugget I'll drop is it represents the UK. So I'm just going to leave that right there.
Yeah, and anytime, Michael, that you want to say something, just cut in, man. You're not gonna, it's not gonna bother me. What I'm trying to show you guys is, again, we'll go back to Matthew 24, and I'll show you this same sequence of events. Now, remember the four colors of those four horses. Oh, I'm going to Matthew 24, not Revelation. Remember the color of those four horses, because those are the flags of the colors of all of the enemies that are coming in to destroy us, right? It says, verse 4, take heed that no one deceive you, for many shall come in my name, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see that you be not troubled, for all of these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So this again, we see the white horse going out, right? He's going out to conquer. He's going out to set up his kingdom. And then we see that all of the other things that the Messiah is talking about right here in verse 7, kingdom against kingdom, famines, pestilences, earthquakes. Um, this is the sword being sent, right? And then it says, all of these are the beginning of birth pains. Can someone let Peachy Clean know to exit out and come back in? Because I know that I'm pretty sure everybody else can hear me. So I don't know. It must be something with being live and having to, um, pull things up. Gosh, this thing's picking up even the sound of the cord dropping there. That's crazy. Okay, back to Revelation 12. So we left off in verse 2 in Revelation 12, and we're about to go to Deuteronomy in just a second, but it says, and she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered. Now, we're going to go to Deuteronomy 4, 26 through 30. 26. I'll start right here. It says, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day. Am I in the right place? Yeah. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that soon you should utterly perish from off the land whereunto you go over the Jordan to possess it. You shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And Yahweh shall scatter you amongst the nations, and you shall be left few in number amongst the heathen, whither Yahweh shall lead you. And there you shall serve other gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. Again, this is part of this disbursement, right? This is why Yahweh warned us. So because we're already dispersed. I'll read through 30. It says, and there you shall serve other gods, right? And which neither eat nor smell. But if from thence you shall seek Yahweh your Elohim, you shall find him. If you seek him with all of your heart and all of your soul, right? Those are the people that are in covenant with him. When you are in tribulation and all of these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if you will turn unto Yahweh your Elohim and shall be obedient unto his voice. So take note here. Again, I just want to highlight this in verse 30. When we are in tribulation and all of these things have come upon us in the latter days, if you turn, like the Messiah told Peter, when you turn, convert your brethren. If you will turn to Yahweh your Elohim and shall be obedient unto his voice, for Yahweh your Elohim is a merciful Elohim. Note that's in brackets, okay? He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of your fathers, which he swore unto them. So, for anybody that's stressed out about tribulation in the latter days, which is what we're in, what does it say? He will not forsake you if you're in covenant. He will not destroy you. He will not forget the covenant that he made with Abraham and all of the people after Abraham up to this very day. Okay? So again, there's a lot of importance in what we're going through. Michael, could
Something else
you?
I would like to add to that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
When Yeshua says, "Woe unto those who are, in childbearing and giving suck in those days," that's actually speaking about the people that are just coming to truth around that time period when the tribulation begins. Because remember, right before Moses brought Israel out of Egypt, what did they do? And what did they do when the two angels came to Lot and his family? They ate unleavened bread and left nothing till morning, right? And that's equivalent to is consuming all this doctrine. Don't leave anything until when the tribulation starts, because when that sun begins to rise, that's when the things are going to start to heat up. And when he's saying woe unto those who are still in suck in those days, it's those people that didn't listen and continued to backslide, and prophecy also states that in that time that when all these events are going to be taking place, the word is going to be taken away from them. So while it is yet night and we know that the morning is coming, it's winter, and we know that summer is coming, we should be consuming this word every day as much as possible and leaving nothing until morning. And that's just what I wanted to point out. A lot of people take what Messiah said and think it's something when he spoke in parables, guys. So that's what it means.
Yep, 100%. Can you guys still hear me the same? Because I turned my volume down on my headphones because it was so loud. Did my vocals change at all, Michael, as far as sound?
You've been perfectly fine on my end, brother. They're saying what I've seen them say in the comment section is as soon as I'm done talking, you'll start talking and it seems low and then it'll gradually get higher and higher. So that's just what I've seen the people say. But on my side, it's perfectly fine.
I think if we just mute up in between, it'll probably help out a lot. But Michael, if you could, I'm gonna read Isaiah. I'm gonna go to Isaiah 13. Um, can you go to Isaiah 26 and read 6 through 6? Sorry, Isaiah 26, 16 through 18. I'll first read where I'm gonna go, but Isaiah 26, 16 through 18. If you could get that pulled up. All right, so we're going to go to Isaiah 13, 6 through 9. And I'm going to show you guys this woman that's travailing, right? I'm going to start in verse 5. It says, "They shall come from a far country, from the end of the heaven, even Yahweh and the weapons of his indignation." Remember, the first 3.5 years is called what? The indignation. And who is he sending right here? The locust army, to destroy the whole land. Howl ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand, and it shall come as destruction from the Almighty. Okay? There shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. Now listen very closely. And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take a hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed at one another, and their faces shall be as flames. This is interesting, right? Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Now, guys, you guys have to study verse 10. I'm not going to give you the answer. Listen to what it just said, though. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth. Faces shall be as flames. Woman travailing in birth. Okay? All key things that we keep seeing over and over again. Verse 10, you're seeing the same thing we read in Joel chapter 2 yesterday about the sun and the moon not giving their light, right? As a matter of fact, I'll go there and then Michael can read. Let me show you guys two things about the sun and the moon. And again, I could show you more places, but I just want to give you two witnesses to this. So, this is the Locust Army. You guys have been here before and you guys know about them if you want to read more about it. But it's saying that basically the land before them is as the Garden of Eden, but everywhere they go through, destruction behind them. They shall run as horsemen, right? We'll come back to this and read all of this when we get to Revelation 9. But it says, the earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble. Listen, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word, for the day of Yahweh is very great and terrible, and who can abide it? Let me show you one more, and then Michael's going to pick up. Matthew 24, I'm just trying to continue to show you guys these timelines of events. So it says, verse 27, for as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so also shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcasses are, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, listen, shall the sun be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. It's exactly what we just read, right? So go ahead, Michael, with yours, and I'll go to the next one.
All right. It says, "In Yahweh, O Yahweh, in distress, they shall visit you. They shall pour out a prayer when when your disciplining is upon them. As a woman with child and about to give birth rise and cries out in her pain, so shall we be before your face. We have conceived, we have writhed in pain, we have given birth to wind. We have not accomplished deliverance in the earth, nor have the inhabitants of the world fallen."
Interesting, right? So we keep hearing this same thing, the same story basically happening over and over again. So I'm going to go to Isaiah chapter 66, and I'm going to cross-reference this as well. I think I'm going to read
I
6.
also want to I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I also want to cross-reference something that you had spoken on earlier about the moon and the sun not giving its light. It's very prophetic. That represents, we have the light for the day, and we also have the lesser light for the night, which it is night right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm going to pull something up for that too. So I hope you don't mind.
No, that's fine. I actually have it here as well. I was going to cover it, but we can cover it. How I'd rather the Spirit lead us and let it go however it needs to go. Okay, I'm going to read 6 through 9. Okay, all right, and we're in Isaiah 66. It says, "A voice of a noise from the city, a voice from the temple, a voice of Yahweh that rendereth recompense to his enemies. Before she travailed, before she brought forth, before her pain came, she delivered of a man child." Remember this, guys. Remember this part right here. Who's the woman that's travailing in pain, Michael?
It's the remnant.
Okay, so this remnant, right? This daughter of Zion, right? It is bringing forth a what? A man child. Okay, so I want you guys to remember this. I'm going to highlight it right here. This man child, which we'll get to shortly, is the 144,000. Okay, and they are part of the remnant, yes, but this is specifically speaking about the Church of Philadelphia. Okay, it says, "Who hath heard such a thing? Who has seen such things? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children." That's the entirety of the remnant, okay? "Shall I bring to birth and not cause to bring forth, saith Yahweh? Shall I cause to bring forth and shut the womb, saith Yahweh? Rejoice ye with Jerusalem and be glad for her, all ye that love her. Rejoice with her, all you that mourn for her." So I want to say this for those that are not of Israel. If you love Yahweh, keep his commandments and follow after him. This is speaking to everyone, okay? It says, "Rejoice, all you that love her, that you may suck," this is what Michael was talking about earlier, "and be satisfied with the breasts of her consolations, that you may milk out and be delighted with the abundance of her glory." That's exactly what we were talking about with the woman giving suck in Matthew 24, right? This is talking about being filled with the word, be satisfied, be in full, get the full understanding that you can get, that Yahweh will give to you, however you might be called, right? Michael, anytime you're ready, brother, you can go ahead. I'm gonna. Oh, actually, hold on one second. I wanted to point one thing out. In verse 8, it says, or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. I want to go to Zechariah 3, 8 through 10, and I want to show you something. This is very interesting. Zechariah 3, 8 through 10. Oh, sorry, I went to 8. Jeez. Zechariah 3, 8 through 10. Okay, now watch this, guys. This is very interesting. Hear now, O Joshua, the high priest, thou and you and your followers that sit before thee, for they are men wondered at. For behold, I will bring forth my servant, the branch. For behold, the stone that I have laid before Joshua, upon the stone shall be 7 eyes. Behold, I will engrave the graving thereof, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will remove the iniquity of that land in 1 day. Listen, I hope you guys caught that, okay? Listen to what I'm cross-referencing. So we were in Isaiah 66, and I was reading verse 8. It says, who hath heard of such a thing? Right? This is talking about this man-child coming forth. Who has seen such things? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in 1 day? Shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Now, let me reread this and listen very closely. I'm going to read all the way through 10. Hear now, O Yeshua, not Yahusha, Yeshua, the high priest, thou and thy fellows, the 144, that sit before thee, for they are men wondered at. For behold, I will bring forth my servant, the branch. Who's the branch or the vine? For behold, the stone that I have laid before Yeshua, upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. Who runs those 7 eyes in Revelation 1? Who's in charge of them? Yeshua. Behold, I will engrave the graving thereof, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will remove the iniquity of of the land in 1 day. But we just read, who has heard of such things, right? Will Yahweh remove the iniquity of the land in 1 day? Yes. In that day, Yahweh of hosts, shall you call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree. Hence, Matthew 24, why the Messiah said, now learn the parable of the fig tree, right? All right, Michael, go ahead.
The whole time you've been talking, I've been sitting here trying to find that just one scripture, and I'm having a very difficult time for some reason. But it's in Enoch. It talks about the moon and the light that gives for righteousness and for wickedness during the night. And I was just trying to prove that it's a prophetic meaning behind it. You have the sun for the day, the brighter light, which Yeshua said he was the light, right? And when he left the world went back into darkness. And then you have the moon, that's the lesser light for night. And then you have the stars of the heavens as well, which all represent specific things. And I was going to show it, but man, I'm flipping through the pages here and I'm like, where is it? Where is it? I just can't find it right at this second. I'm even trying to word search it too and can't find it.
All right, go ahead. Just let me know when you got it. I'm going to go to, we're in Jeremiah 4. It says in verse 30, and when thou art spoiled, what will you do? Though thou clotheth thyself with crimson, though thy decketh thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with painting, in vain shall you make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee, the other nations, right? They will seek your life. For I have heard a voice as of a woman in travail, and the anguish of her that bringeth forth her first child, the voice of the daughter of Zion. That tells you who it is right there. That bewaileth herself, that spreadeth her hands before her face, right? She's like, whoa, whoa, no, 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 no. For my soul is wearied because of what? Don't say that, Michael, but for the people in the chat, because of what? What are they going to do? Guys, listen, this is probably like the fourth or fifth witness just to what we've been talking about so far. The locust army is not coming to play games and give you flowers and hugs and kisses because you're going along with what they believe. This is what they're called by the Most High. Okay? The same thing that Cain was in the garden, remember? Okay, so I'm going to continue on. We're now going to go to Jeremiah 6, 22 through 26, and I'll need your help through this, Michael. Jeremiah 6, 22 through 26. Oh, what happened? Jeremiah 6, let me just put a 6 here. 22 to 26. Now, what happened? Did it just exit out of my... It's not highlighted. All right, it doesn't matter. I'll highlight it so you guys can see it. Jeremiah 6, 22 to 26. Okay, I'm just going to highlight this.
Okay, I found that, by the way, and then thank you who sent that to me, Hannah. That's awesome that you found that, because I was sitting there just scratching my head. I was all the way in 70 through 70, like I was reading 70 through 80, the chapters, and I was way off. So thank you, Hannah, for sending me that.
Go ahead, brother. You can read it.
This is Enoch 41, verse 8. It says, "For the sun changes often for the blessing or a curse, and the course of the path of the moon is light to the righteous and darkness to the sinners, in the name of Yahweh, who made a separation between the light and the darkness, and divided the spirits of men, and strengthened the spirits of the righteous in the name of his righteousness. For no messenger delays, and no power is able to delay, for he appoints a right ruler for them," which is our Messiah, "all, and he rightly rules them all before him." Sorry it took me so long to find that.
No, you're good, brother. Actually, let me... Okay, I'll need your help through this, Michael, because I'm going to be doing a bunch of cross-referencing. Now I don't have to wear my headphones. I'm just going to turn up the volume on the headphones so I can hear you. I hate wearing those things, man. Okay, so Michael, if you could pull up Deuteronomy 28, 48 through 50, and also Isaiah 13, verse 10.
Let me use my computer instead of trying to flip pages here.
All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Jeremiah 6, 22 through 26. Okay, listen very closely. "Thus saith Yahweh, behold, a people cometh from the north." Boom, you see that? "From the north country, a great nation shall be raised from the sides of the earth. They," again, I should have all this highlighted. I'm pretty sure I did. "They shall lay hold of bow and spear." Question: how was the Messiah pierced? With what? A spear.
Here.
"They are cruel and have no mercy, and their voice roareth like the sea, and they ride upon horses set in array as men against thee, O daughter of Zion." You guys see that? So again, keep in mind Revelation chapter 9, because we're going to go back to that later. "We have heard the fame thereof. Our hands wax feeble." Weakness, right? "Anguish has taken hold of us as pain, as a woman in travail. Go not forth into the field." This is for my South African brothers that were on Daniel's live yesterday that were arguing, right? "Go not forth into the field, nor walk by the way, for the sword of the enemy and fear is on every side." So if you think you can fight against the hand of Yahweh, good luck. "O daughter of my people, gird thee with sackcloth, and wallow thyself in ashes. Make thee mourning, as for the only son. Most bitter lamentations." That's what the book of Lamentations is about, right? "For the spoiler shall suddenly come upon us." So again, guys, I know this is a hard pill for people to swallow, but just as earlier when we were on the live with Brother Nate and Brother Rick, I know a lot of people have a hard time with this, but this is what the scripture says. We're giving witness after witness. Michael, can you read Deuteronomy 28:48-50?
Yeah, it says, therefore shall you serve your enemies. And this, and again, before I continue reading, guys, this applies to everybody that's in the land right now. Okay, this applies to you. It says, therefore you shall serve your enemies, which Yahweh shall send against you in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon your neck until he have destroyed you. And Yahweh shall bring a nation against you from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flies, a nation whose tongue you shall not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Okay, now listen to this very closely before Michael goes to the next scripture. It says, lo, I will bring a nation upon you from far, O house of Israel, saith Yahweh. It is a mighty nation. It is an ancient nation, a
Ancient.
nation whose language thou knowest not, neither understandeth what they say. The quiver is an open sepulchre, a tomb that they are all mighty men, just as in Joel 2. And they shall eat up thine harvest and thy bread, which thy sons and thy daughters should eat. They shall eat up thy flocks and thine herds. They shall eat up thy vines and thy fig trees. They shall impoverish thy fenced cities, wherein thou trustest with the sword. Nevertheless, in those days, saith Yahweh, I will not make a full end of you. Speaking to the remnant. And it shall come to pass, when you shall say, why does Yahweh our Elohim do these things unto us? Listen very closely. This is how you answer. Then shall you answer them, like as you have forsaken Yahweh and served strange gods in your lands, so shall you serve strangers in a land that is not yours. Now, how do we know we're supposed to say this? Declare this in the house of Jacob and publish it in Judah, saying, hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. Fear ye not me, saith Yahweh? Will you not tremble at my presence, which I have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass? And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. But this people has a revolting and a rebellious heart. Speaking to Israel, they are revolted and gone. Neither say they in their heart, let us now fear Yahweh, that giveth rain, both the former and the latter in his season. Now, this is in Joel. When the latter rain is poured out, that's the second measure of the Spirit that is given to the remnant. In his season, he reserved unto us and appointed weeks of harvest. Your iniquities have turned away these things, and your sins have withholden good things from you. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait. He that setteth snares, they set up trap, and they catch men. As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore, they are become great and waxen rich. Now, I'm not going to name the name of these men that are currently calling themselves watchmen, but this is what he's talking about right here. For
Yep, and they've also got beast on the wall too.
Yeah, he says, for among my people are found wicked men. No, not just BHI.
It ain't the BHI.
Our own kind.
Our own people are doing this, and they're still doing the exact same thing that the Pharisees did when Yeshua was complaining to them, and he said, "You guys go and travel land and sea, which means Adam and nations, and you recruit all those, making them way worse than they already are." And there's people that are running around right now claiming to be watchmen, and I was in one of their lives the other day, listening to one of them get blistered drunk, calling himself the 144,000, that's doing exactly the things that Yeshua said not to do.
Yep. Michael, you got your next one prepared?
You want Isaiah 13? I couldn't remember what verses though. I'm right here though.
Yeah, Isaiah 33, verse 10.
33. I'm so sorry.
No, you're
Okay,
good.
hold
You're
on one
good.
second. Isaiah 33, what?
Verse 10.
Verse 10. Okay. Now will I rise, saith Yahweh. Now will I be exalted. Now I will lift up myself. Where'd you want me to read to?
You can actually, if you want to read the verse prior and then the verse after. I'm sorry, I probably should have given some context. I wasn't looking at it. I'm looking at the next verse.
The earth mourneth and languisheth. Lebanon is ashamed and hewed down. Guys, when it says the earth, it's not talking about it's also well, it is talking about the whole earth, but you got to always keep in mind what came forth from the ground. It was Adam, which if you do a Hebrew word search on this word earth, it literally means the ground. It's Israel that's mourning, and the earth mourneth and languisheth. Lebanon, which are the cedars of Lebanon, which means white, is ashamed and hewn down. Sharon is like the wilderness, and Bashan and Carmel shake off their fruits. Now will I rise, saith Yahweh. Now will I be exalted. Now will I lift up myself. You shall conceive chaff. You shall bring forth stubble. Your breath as fire shall devour you.
There you go. So again, guys, we've been all over the scripture so far, and we're reading, again, the same things over and over again, because this, again, is how you understand the prophets. You can't say, well, I think and I feel. No, show us in the scripture. Now, listen very closely to this. And also, Michael, I'm going to go to Jeremiah 13 next. But if you could go back to Deuteronomy 28, I want to just reiterate what we read earlier. I want to reread verse 43 through 50. And I'm going to start reading this right now, because this is going to go with as soon as we start reading about the woman that's travailing. Hold on, let me make sure I'm in the right place. Yeah, Jeremiah 13. Am I in Jeremiah 13? No, I'm in Ezekiel.
Is somebody knocking on the door?
Hold on a second.
No. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't on mute.
Oh, I see what I did. Okay. Yeah, I need to read Ezekiel. That's where I went. That's where I was going. Michael, if you could go also before Deuteronomy 28. Also, if you could go to Jeremiah 13, 21 through 23.
Jeremiah 13.
21 to 23. And then when you're done reading that, you can go straight to Deuteronomy 28, 43 through 50.
Okay.
And I'm going to start reading Isaiah chapter 3 really quickly. Okay, it says,
Okay.
Moreover, what happened? Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat thou that thou findest. Eat this scroll. Okay, it's not a roll, it's a scroll. He's talking about the word. And go speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that scroll. He said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this scroll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. Now, we see John does this as well, and it's all throughout the prophecies. What is he eating? Is he eating some jelly roll? Is he eating a donut or something? No, he's eating the Torah, this prophetic speech, right? And then he says he did eat it, and it was in his mouth as sweetness. The words are sweet, but they turn into bitterness in the stomach because the people reject it. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with them my words. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Okay, so where is he being sent? To the house of Israel. Not too many people of a strange speech and a hard language, whose words thou canst not understand. surely I had sent thee to them, not to many people of a strange speech in a hard language, whose words thou canst not understand. Now listen, he's saying, surely had I sent you unto them, they would have listened. This is how disobedient Israel was. That if Yahweh would have sent them to another people, which is the people that are now claiming to be Yahweh's chosen, there's nothing new under the sun. This is the same thing happening over and over again, right? But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not even hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impotent and hard-hearted. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and their forehead strong against, and your forehead strong against their foreheads. As an adamant, harder than flint, have I made their forehead. Fear them not, or made your forehead. Sorry. So again, this guys, where are we sealed? On the forehead, right? And he's making his forehead harder than flint, and he's saying to them, do not fear them. Use the word that I just gave you. Neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I speak unto thee, receive in your heart and hear with your ears, and go unto them into of the captivity unto the children of your people, and speak unto them and tell them, Thus saith Yahweh, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. So in other words, whether they will listen or not. Then the Spirit took me up, and I heard behind me a voice as a great rushing, saying, Blessed be Yahweh, blessed be the glory of Yahweh from his place. So again, I'm going to stop right there because this is going into some deeper stuff that we could cover, but I'd rather just stick to where Michael's at right now. Go ahead, Michael, whenever you're ready.
All right. I'd like, you said Jeremiah 13:21 through 23, right?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to start at verse 20, if that's okay.
Yeah, man. Whatever you want to add to context, go for it.
Okay. It says, Lift up your eyes and behold, and this is for you guys in the land, guys. And behold, them that come from the north. Where is the flock that was given you, your beautiful flock? What will you say when he shall punish you? For you has taught them to be captains and as chiefs over you. Shall not sorrows take you as a woman in travail? And if you say in your heart, Wherefore come these things upon me? For the greatness of your iniquity are the skirts discovered, and your heels made bare. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that is accustomed to do evil. Also, I noticed someone asked about the North and the South. You're thinking about Northern Europe. It's talking about the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere. All right, and you wanted me to read Deuteronomy 28. The stranger that is within you shall get up above you very high, and you shall come down very low. He shall lend to you, and you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you, and shall punish you, and overtake you, till you be destroyed, because you hearken not unto the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and upon your seed forever. Because you served not Yahweh your Elohim with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shall you serve your enemies, which Yahweh shall send against you, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon your neck until he hath destroyed you. And Yahweh shall bring a nation against you from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flies, a nation whose tongue you shall not understand, a nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Hallelujah to that, guys, because I got chills from that, literally. Again, I've been to this so many times, and yet every time we go through it again, it blows my mind. Um, Michael, if you wouldn't mind, can you go to Jeremiah chapter 30 and get verses 1 through 9 ready? I'm going to read something out of Matthew really quickly that's going to go with what you're about to read. And if you have anything you want to add along the way, just let me know, brother.
I just wanted to point out to the brothers over there in the Southland that, you know, I know this is really distressing that you're seeing all the farm murders that are going on. I can't imagine, really, I can't. But this is all stuff that's prophesied, and as you can see, they have no mercy. They don't care. They don't care if you're young. They don't care if you're old. They will do the most heinous crimes unto you, and that was the promise. That was part of the curse of Deuteronomy 28. If you guys walked away, this is why it's happening.
Brother, just so you know, you have to say schmurder. I just got like a little thing popped up. I don't think it's a big
My
deal.
bad.
It doesn't say
Sorry.
it doesn't say I have to drop you. It just I got a warning. That's all. Um, all right. So in Matthew chapter 24, we're going to read verses 7 through 9, and then what Michael is about to read is going to really bring some clarity to everything that we've just covered. It says, "For nation," again, this word "nation" means race. "For race shall rise against race, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All of these are the beginning of birth pains." Okay, so who's giving birth here? Well, it's the woman of that's in travail, the daughter of Zion. Then, listen very closely. After that happens, this is when tribulation begins. Then shall they deliver you up. Remember, up here he said, not to be troubled when we see wars and rumors of wars. See that you're not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. But when you see nation rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, all of these are the beginning of birth pains. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall unalive you, and you shall be hated of all races for my name's sake. And then you're going to have people that are going to get offended, and you're going to have people that are going to betray one another and hate one another, and false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. And because lawlessness shall abound, the love, remember what love is, it's not love in the way that we think. The love of many, strong delusion, shall grow cold. But for those of you that endure unto the end, the same shall have salvation. Okay. Now, Michael, go ahead and read where Jeremiah 30, if you can, 1 through 9.
The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Thus speaketh Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto you in a book. For lo, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith Yahweh, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers. That would be us, to the four corners of the earth. And they shall possess it. And these are the words that Yahweh spoke concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus says Yahweh, We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask you now, and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces turned into paleness. Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh of hosts, that I will break the yoke from off your neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve Yahweh their Elohim, and David, which is our Messiah, their king, whom I will raise up unto them.
Beautiful. All right, so we're going to be in John 16, and I'm probably just going to read through 22. But it says, "A little while, and you shall not see me. And again, a little while, you shall see me, because I go to the Father." Then said some of his disciples among themselves, What is this that he saith unto us? A little while, and you shall not see me, and again in a little while you shall see me. And because I go to the Father, so his disciples are like, what is he talking about? They said, therefore, what is this that he hath said? A little while, we cannot tell what he said. Now Yeshua knew that they were desiring to ask him, and said unto them, do you inquire amongst yourselves of what I said? A little while, and you shall not see me, and again in a little while you shall see me? Verily, verily, I say unto you, listen very closely, that you shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and you shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. A woman, when she is travailed, or a woman is in travail, and hath sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she delivers her child, she doesn't remember the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. And you now, therefore, have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and joy that no man can take away from you. Now, guys, when people say the scriptures in the New Testament don't align with the scriptures in the Old Testament, or they try to disregard the Messiah, or they pick either the Old Testament and stick to that and deny the New Testament, or vice versa, this is exactly what we just read. And again, remember Yeshua spoke in parables. This is why they were like, what is he talking about? This doesn't make any sense. Had they studied and really truly understood the prophecies, again, I don't know that they would have been able to fully come to that conclusion, because again, the books were sealed. We'll read that in Daniel in a second. But it's explaining to us that when the world is rejoicing at our punishment, right, we will be sorrowful. But he says our sorrow will be turned into joy. Now, let me ask you a question. When Yeshua was going to be crucified, do you guys think that he was full of joy on his way to be, after being beaten and then having to be crucified the way he was? Of course not. But didn't he tell us that we too would have to endure and share in his sufferings in order to share with his joy? So it says that a woman, when she's giving birth in her sorrow, because her hour has come, right? She's sorrowful because she's in pain. But as soon as that child is delivered, she remembers the pain no more, because a man is brought into the world. So I want you guys to remember what we read in Revelation about, we haven't got quite there yet, but we read about the man-child, right? Which is a part of the remnant. That man-child that's spoken of there is the 144,000. Now, what brings, in verse 21, when the woman is having sorrow, right, and her hour has come, what brings the woman joy? That a man is born into the world, okay? And so, again, this man that is born into the world is essentially going to do what? He's going to bring knowledge and truth and peace, right? And the woman's sorrow goes away. She's no longer in pain because she knows the truth. That's prophetically what he's speaking here. All right. Michael, can you go to Nahum chapter 2, verse 10? Actually, you know what? I'll cover the next two. If you could go to Isaiah 54, 1 through 10. I'm gonna go to 1 Thessalonians 5, 2 through 3. So you could cover Isaiah 54, 1 through 10, and I'm going to cover both Nahum and 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians 5. 1 Thessalonians 5. And I might read a little bit more. Let me see the context here. Let's see. I'm gonna start from verse 1. It says, "But of the times and seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of our master so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction will cometh upon them," not us, them, "as travail upon a woman with child, and they," not us, "they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not of the darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief. You are children of the light and children of the day. We are not of the night nor of the darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep. Don't slumber like the disciples did before the Messiah when he went out to pray and he asked them to keep guard. Don't be like that. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep in the night and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. And again, Michael, this is what Michael was talking about, what he witnessed the other day, but this isn't just a physical drunkenness, guys. This is being drunken on bad doctrine, being blind with a veil over your face. But let us who
Yep.
are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet, and the hope of salvation. For Yahweh has not appointed us to wrath. Guys, this is so cool, right? Because people get so mixed up in not understanding the indignation and the wrath. Yes, we are going to go through the indignation, but we're not appointed to wrath. But to obtain salvation by our Master Yeshua Messiah, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. Remember, he said he was going to prepare a place for us, right? Wherefore, comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also you do, which is what we're doing right now. Nothing new under the sun. Okay, I'm going to go to Nahum really quickly, and then Michael's going to read something really important. Where are you, Nahum? Nahum. Okay, and I think I said, yeah, chapter 2, verse 10. Okay. Nahum chapter 2, verse 10 says, She is empty and void and waste, and the heart melteth, and the knees smite together. As much pain is in all loins, and the faces of them gather blackness. Where is the dwelling of the loins, and the feeding place of the young lions, where the lion, even the old lion, walked, and the lions whelp, and none made them afraid? The lion did tear into pieces enough for his whelps, and they strangled for his lioness, and filled his holes with prey, and his dens with rabin, I guess. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will burn her chariots, and the smoke of the sword shall devour thy young lions, and I will cut off thy prey from the earth, and the voice of thy messengers shall be heard no more. Remember in Revelation? That those sounds in Revelation shall be heard no more at all in thee. Interesting, right? How the prophets are literally piece by piece showing us what the book of Revelation is saying. Now, when Michael reads, listen very closely to what Michael's about to read, because this is super important.
Sing, O barren, that you didst not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud that you didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith Yahweh. That's a big teller right there. It's not the whole Christian church, guys. Enlarge the place of your tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations, and spare not. Lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes, which represents us building the house, which is exactly what we're doing right here, right now, in this very moment. We're building the tent. For you shall break forth on the right hand and on the left, and your seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Fear not, for you shall not be ashamed, neither be you confounded, for you shall not be put to shame, for you shall forget the shame of your youth, and shall not remember the reproach of your widowhood anymore, because we're divorced. For your Maker is your husband, and Yahweh of hosts is his name, and your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The God, the Elohim of the whole earth, shall he be called. For Yahweh hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth when you was refused, saith Yahweh. For a small moment have I forsaken you, but with great mercies will I gather you, the gathering of the elect. In a little wrath I hid my face from you for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on you, saith Yahweh, your Redeemer. For this is the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so I have sworn that I would not be wroth with you, nor rebuke you. For the mountains shall depart, which the mountains are not talking about, tall mountains breaking down. It's talking about the nations. It's talking not the nations, the continents where Israel dwells. For the mountains shall depart, and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from you, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith Yahweh, that hath mercy on you.
How beautiful is that, guys? And I just want to highlight this in verse 9. It says, "For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth." This is proof of the flood covering the whole earth, okay? But not only that, as we get further in Revelation 12, guys, understand that the dragon, remember, he sends a flood out of his mouth as it were, right? A flood. It's not an actual flood of water. But this is why the Messiah said in Matthew 24, it would be as in the days of Noah. So this time it's not a flood of water, it's a flood of nations, right? And for everybody that was asking what we were just reading, that was Isaiah 54, 1 through 10. I know I saw Jen post it, but guys, this will be posted on YouTube. So I know many of you are probably not going to go back and want to rewatch it, but for anybody that might miss something or whatever, just know that we're going to have all of this stuff posted on YouTube so you can rewatch if you want. Also, I'm going to read something interesting here in Jeremiah chapter 4, and I'm going to start in verse 22. It says, "For my people are foolish, they have not known me. They are Scottish children that have no understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge." That's sad in a way, right? Because again, it says they are wise as a serpent, basically, to do the evil. So they follow through with it. But to do good, they have no knowledge, no understanding. "I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and the heavens, they had no light. I beheld the mountains, and lo, they trembled, and the hills moved lightly. I beheld, and lo, there was no man, and all the birds of the heavens were fled. I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place was a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down at the presence of Yahweh, and by his fierce anger. For thus hath Yahweh said, The whole land shall be desolate, yet will I not make a full end. For this the earth shall mourn, the heavens above will be black, because I have spoken it." Remember, what is it? Second Baruch that talks about the 12 different types of waters that turn from black to white, black to white, black to white. The
Yeah,
vision
the
again.
bright waters and the black waters.
Yeah. So what did he just say? "For this the earth shall mourn, the heavens above shall be black, because I have spoken it, and I will have purposed it, and I will not repent, neither will I turn back from it." So this is going to happen, regardless of what anybody thinks. "The whole city shall flee for the noise of the horsemen and bowmen. They shall go into the thickets and climb upon the rocks. Every city shall be forsaken, and not a man dwell therein." Well, who do you suppose this is speaking of? Michael, if you don't mind going back to Joel chapter 2, I just wanted to read after Joel, after I'm done reading Joel chapter 2, because that's going to really pull into everything that we're covering, and then we'll go to Revelation 9 in a minute. "And when
Where
thou
where
art..."
where, where did you want to go in Joel? I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're
Joel
good.
2 what?
Joel 2, just where it starts explaining the locust army. You don't have to read from
Okay.
the very first verse, just the locust army all the way to, you can stop right before it talks about the sun and moon not giving their light.
Okay.
It says, "And when you are spoiled, what will you do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments in gold, Though thou rentest thy face with painting, in vain shall you make thyself fair with your lovers, and they will despise thee and seek your life. For I have heard a voice of a woman in travail, and the anguish of her that bringeth forth her first child, the voice of the daughter of Zion that bewaileth herself. Now I know we read this earlier, guys, but I went back and gave you more context for a reason. It's explaining, again, just in a different way. It's different in the sense that it's written a little bit differently than, say, maybe what we're about to read in Joel chapter 2. But you keep seeing this. There's going to be horsemen, right? And there's going to be many, and they're going to be in battle array, and they're not going to break their ranks, and they're going to spoil all of these cities. It says every city will be spoiled to where no man will dwell therein. So if the locust army are other nations, and they're in these cities destroying them, why does it say that no man will dwell in those places? Because they're not considered people. They're called the beast of the field. Now, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just telling you there's plenty of scripture to prove, without me giving my opinion or Michael giving his opinion, to prove, again, and I said this earlier about the ark. When Noah went onto the ark, he was told to take on 2 of every unclean animal. How do you guys think that there was giants on the earth before and after? Now, that goes both along with the fact that one of the wives that married Ham also had the genes of the Nephilim, right? Because those genes can skip a generation. So they're in a rush. They're trying to get onto the ark. Yahweh commands them to go and find wives for his 3 sons. They marry the same day that Noah's father dies, and then they get on the ark, and then people will ask, well, how did Cain's lineage survive? They were on the ark. How does the Nephilim, the giants, still there after? Cain's wife. This is again why there was a curse given to Canaan. Okay, so that was Ham's first son. So there's a lot to this, and people are going to say, that's not in scripture. I assure you it is. And again, when people get into the discussion about what happens with what Ham does to Noah, it's way deeper than people understand. It's something that you have to know the Torah to truly understand what Ham did to Noah. All right, go ahead, Michael, whenever you're ready. Sorry, brother.
It says, blow the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, which is the land, which is where you guys are beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand, and it is nigh. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. That key word right there, the morning, is very crucial because it's giving you a timeline. Just as when the 2 witnesses pulled Lot and his wife and 2 daughters out of Sodom and Gomorrah, when did they start to pull them out? It was in morning. And when the destruction came, it was when the sun was at its highest. Those events literally give you timelines, guys. So don't ignore that. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and strong, which is representing the first half of the tribulation, the first half of the day, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is like the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, and nothing shall escape them. And the appearance of them is the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, right there, the 4 horsemen, the red, black, green, and white. Muslims, well, I'm not going to say it all right here, but it's all in prophecy. It's in Daniel, it's everywhere. So shall they run, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains. That means all scattered through the 4 corners of the earth. That's why it says mountains, wherever Israel is dwelling at the 4 corners of the earth. Shall they leap, like the noise of the flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness, which is paleness. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war, that wall representing the church wall. And they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one of them thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path, and and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Now, this prophecy is speaking on two different things here. Okay, you have to look at it in multiple different angles. Which the marching, you see that today. It's in literally every single European nation with those purple Power Rangers. They're marching up and down the streets. They're literally telling everybody what they want to do, which is eliminate the white man. That's just what it is. They hate you with a passion. You can't speak anything against them. You can have all the scripture in the world and prove them dead wrong, and they will never hear what you're saying. And that's also a part of that prophecy saying they will fall upon the sword, but they shall not be wounded. That has two different prophecies behind it. You can't cut them with the word, nor can you unalive them. They'll just get right back up. Uh, see, they shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them, which represents the seed of Adam. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark. Remember what I just read in Enoch about the sun and the moon. The sun represents the Messiah. And from my understanding, the moon can represent the 144 because it's the greater light of the night that gives for righteousness and wickedness. The stars as well also apply, shall be dark. And that's when the word will be taken away, guys. That's when they will start seeking the word high and low, saying, where is it? But they shall not find it, guys. That's when it's over. When this starts to happen, it's done. You know, so, he always sends prophets in, he always sends people in to warn Israel that the sword is upon them. Because if we don't, if brother Adrian or me or anybody else don't warn that what Yahweh has revealed to us to the people, then guess what? That blood's going to be on our hands, and we have to have a forehead of flint, and that's why we're not ashamed of what we're showing. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall, and they shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And Yahweh shall utter his voice, the Messiah, before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible, and who can abide in it?
Perfect. Now, guys, what I'm doing, as Michael was reading that, we went through Revelation 6. So I'm sure you guys saw what was popping up on the screen and what's on there now. Notice what's behind the spear, or the spears, right? Or what's in front of the spear? Shield and spear. And look at the colors. This is from Africa. Okay, so understand that this is going to be a huge part of the locust army. Okay, but prior to this, I typed in another place, so you guys hopefully were paying attention to that as well. But it's not just in one place; it's all over in all of the different regions. Look at the color of this map, right here. Again, this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, and this is typical of what they wear. Okay,
And
so
that's also representing the North and the South, the Northern Hemisphere of Africa and the Southern Hemisphere of Africa.
yeah, so just be aware. I mean, this is something that I think people should really be paying attention to. So we need to make sure that we're paying very close attention to all the signs and everything that's going on. All right, Jeremiah chapter 6, okay, is what we're going.
Adrian,
Yeah.
S&T, I think he wants to ask a question. He said, can I quickly join again with more info? I
Yes,
don't.
if you wouldn't mind, brother, and let me just finish this one part, and then I can bring you up. I just don't want to sidetrack. I feel like the Holy Spirit is, um, for the people that are watching and listening. I'd be more than happy to bring you up, but I'm on a roll here, and I just don't want to miss out on where we're headed next. Okay, so let me read this really quickly. It says, "O you children of Benjamin, gather yourselves to flee out of the midst of Jerusalem and blow the trumpet of Tekoa." Look this name up in Hebrew, people. "And set up a sign of a fire and I can't pronounce that, Bekrathim, for evil appeareth out of where? The north, and great destruction. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman." Now, watch this. "Thus saith Yahweh, Behold, a people cometh from the north. A great nation shall be raised up from the sides of the earth. They shall lay hold on bow and spear. They are cruel, they have no mercy. Their voice roareth like the sea. They ride upon horses, set in array as men for war against thee, O daughter of Zion. We have heard the fame thereof, and our hands wax feeble. Anguish has taken hold of us, as pain, as a woman in travail. Go not forth into the field, neither walk by the way, for the sword of the enemy and fears on every side. O daughter of my people, gird thee with sackcloth and wallow thyself in ashes. Make thee mourning." Now, what do you think we're doing right now, guys? We're not actually going out and getting sackcloth and sitting in ashes. We're mourning for all the people that are lost. "And as for an only son, most bitter lamentation for the spoiler shall suddenly come upon us." Now, what did we read in earlier in the New Testament, where it said, "When they shall say peace and safety, then what happens? Sudden destruction shall come upon us," right? Sudden destruction shall come upon us. So this is the order in which everything is happening. This is not a new concept. This is not Michael's opinion. This is not Adrian's opinion. This is what the scripture says. So, brother, if you want to come up really quickly, if you had something you wanted to say, I'd be more than happy for you to come up if you just want to share. But I just don't want to sidetrack the teaching for too long. And then if you want to come up after, I'm totally fine with that as well. If anybody wants to come up and ask questions at the end. I do have to cut out of here in a few hours, though, just so everyone's aware. All right, Michael, can you go to let's see. I'm gonna read. I'm not gonna actually pull it up on the screen. I'm just gonna read something. But if could you go to Zephaniah 3:10-14?
Sure. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go back a bit, guys. It says in Jeremiah. Let me just go to. I'll just go there. Jeremiah 14:17. Okay. So I just want to kind of stick to Jeremiah while we're here. Jeremiah 14:17 says, "Therefore thou shalt say this word unto them, Let mine eyes run down with tears night and day, and let them not cease. For the virgin daughter of my people is broken with a great breach, with a very grievous blow. If I go forth into the field, and behold the slain with the sword, and if I enter in the city, and behold them that are sick with the famine, yea, both the prophet and the priest go about in the land, they that know not. Hast thou utterly rejected Judah?" This is huge, people. And again, for our brothers that are in that land, you guys better be very careful how you speak to those brothers over there. "Hast thou soul loathed Zion? Why hast thou smitten us? And there is no healing for us. We looked for peace, and there is no good. And for the time of healing, and behold, trouble." So again, we're seeing this. There's an order that's happening here, right? And this daughter of Zion is going to be cut off for a season, a time, right? So I'm going to read something really quickly in Jeremiah 49:26. It says, "Therefore her young men shall fall in her streets, and all of her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith Yahweh of hosts." Now, I'll go there for more context, and I'll pull it up on the screen. Michael, go ahead and read Zephaniah, and then I want to go to back to Jeremiah 4:11.
Okay. So it says, from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my supplements, even the daughter of my dispersed, which is those who are scattered to the four winds, shall bring mine offering. Means we're going there on the southern tip of Africa. In that day shall you not be ashamed for all your doings wherein you has transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of you them that rejoice in your pride, and you shall no more be haughty because of my holy mountain. I will also leave in the midst of you an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahweh. The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, for they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. Sing, O daughter of Zion, and shout. Oh, where did we hear that before? The shout. And you shall hear the sound of the shout, and the dead shall be raised, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is important because this shout is it's all over scripture. And a lot of Christians think this is the pre-trib rapture. Well, it just said this was the gathering elect, and then they're gonna shout. So it's definitely not a pre-tribulation rapture at all.
Yeah.
This is when the 144 are called up to the throne. O Israel, be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. Sorry, Adrian, if I'm getting annoying with trying to explain what I'm
No,
reading
no, no,
here,
no.
just let me know.
No, I actually want people to understand what it is that you're going through and all that. So please elaborate as much as you want. Um, I'm going to read something. I'm going to go through Jeremiah 4. Michael, could you go to Revelation 14, 1 through 5, and then just get Revelation 9, starting from verse 3 after that. All right, I'm going to read something out of Jeremiah 4, guys, while Michael's preparing Revelation 14, 1 through 5, and then we'll go through Revelation 9 together. All right, Jeremiah chapter 4. I'm going to start from 7 because we went through this already, but just listen very closely. The lion is come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentile is on his way. He is gone forth from his place to make the land desolate. Now, remember, we read this in Revelation chapter 6, guys, the horsemen that are going out. And the cities shall be laid waste without inhabitant. For this, gird you with sackcloth, lament and howl. For a fierce anger of Yahweh is not turned back from us. It shall come to pass at that day, saith Yahweh, that the heart of the king shall perish, and the heart of the princes, and the priests shall be astonished, and the prophets shall wonder. Then said I, Ah, O Yahweh, surely thou hast greatly deceived this people and Jerusalem, saying, You shall have peace, whereas the sword reacheth unto the soul. At that time shall it be said to this people, to Jerusalem, a dry wind of the high places in the wilderness towards the daughter of my people, not to fan, nor to cleanse, even a full wind. Wind, guys, think of the winds. From those places shall come unto me. Now also will I give sentence against them. Question, who's the judge? And who's the faithful witness? And who's giving sentence? Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. O Jerusalem, wash thine heart from wickedness, and thou mayest, you might be saved. How long shall thy vain thoughts lodge within thee? So I'm going to stop right there because I think that is covering enough. But Michael, if you would read, go ahead and start in Revelation 14 and read 1 through 5.
And it says, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, which is in the promised land, and with him 144,000 having his father's name written in their forehead, which is Ezekiel 9. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard a voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song, as it were a new song, because it's not new, it's just new now to those who are hearing it, before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which have not defiled with women, for they are virgins. See, guys, a lot of people think, you know, don't be discouraged about this if you've had a wife, guys. This is not what this means. This is talking about when we're baptized and become reborn on this earth and we take up this covenant with our Father, we're now officially virgins to Father. We can remarry into that covenant.
And the
And those,
144 are betrothed to the Messiah. That's what it's saying. They are betrothed
yeah,
to Messiah. They're his.
there. That's right. Where was I? 144,000, and were redeemed from the earth, just like they're redeemed in Numbers. These are they that which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb wheresoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of Yahweh.
So, question, where were they redeemed?
From the earth.
Okay, so where does the 144,000 come from?
From Adam.
Yeah, they're men, right? They're walking on the earth right
Yeah.
now. And then
Yeah.
it says that there are going to be 12,000 from each tribe, which would insinuate that there must be the 12 tribes still walking the earth today, right? Not only the 12 tribes of Israel, but also you have to remember all of the other nations. They didn't disappear like people like to try to chalk it up and say, oh, well, yeah, they're not here anymore. No, that's not how that works. As we
Nope.
said earlier with the Palestine giant, right? So now let's go back for a second. Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 13. Behold, this should sound familiar because it's in Revelation chapter 1. Behold, he comes up as clouds. He cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, right? And his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. Who do you think this is that's coming with the clouds, the 144,000? In the Old Testament, guys, you have to understand that when armies would come, the ground would shake. If you're the other opposing side that's waiting, you would be waiting and listening and watching, because normally you would meet on a battlefield, right? Unless it was a city that's being besieged. So on a battlefield, you're waiting, and when you're looking out and you start feeling the ground shaking, you're going to see dust coming up from all the horses and chariots and all the men that are marching in, right? That's what this is a reference to when it talks about the Messiah coming coming with the clouds, right? And his chariots shall be as a whirlwind, and his horses swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. O Jerusalem, wash your heart from wickedness, that thou mayest be saved. So this is a time of salvation, right? So, and it even goes in a little bit further down here. It talks about, make ye mention, verse 16, make ye mention to the nations, behold, publish against Jerusalem, that the watchers come from a far country and give out their voice against the cities of Judah. So I wanted to cover this because in where Michael was just reading in Revelation 14, I'm going to go to Isaiah chapter 40, Michael, and then we're going to go together to Revelation 9:3. All right, Isaiah 40, we're going to go to Isaiah 40, and I'm going to read probably like 1 through 8 or 6 through 8. Let's see, Isaiah 40. It says, comfort ye, my people, saith Yahweh. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her, that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. For she has received of Yahweh's hand double for all of her sins. Where have we heard that? And the voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of Yahweh. Make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Every valley shall be exalted. Every mountain and hill shall be made low. These are nations and people. And the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places a plain. And the glory of Yahweh shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it. Who's the glory of Yahweh? It's our Messiah. That's why it's in pink, right? He shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. Can't see that on a round earth, can you? For the mouth of Yahweh hath spoken it. The voice said, Cry. And he said, What shall I cry? All flesh is grass. Right? So when people say, Adrian, it's not talking in Revelation about the grass and trees. I know, it's talking about the people. All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof is as the flower of the field. The grass withereth. So what's withering here? The people. The flower fadeth. The people. Because the Spirit of Yahweh bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our Elohim shall stand forever. Isn't that
Those,
interesting?
sorry.
Go ahead, brother. You're good.
Those flowers, just to expound on that a little bit, if you really want to understand what the flowers represents, guys, go back into the book of Enoch, study the sovereigns of the earth and their punishment. That's the flowers, and the grass is the people as well.
Yeah, it's beautiful, guys. And I'm telling you, a lot of people that when they first start listening to this type of teaching, and again, this has nothing to do with me or Michael. This is all praise to Yahweh. I don't want anybody looking to me. I said this last night. I don't want anybody looking to me as if I'm somebody special. I'm not. I have my own issues. I have my own problems. I have my own things that I go through. I simply love Yahweh, guys, the same way that many of you do. And all I want to see is people wake up and come to truth. And if you have seen that with working with someone and they start hearing truth, I can tell you that it's just I can understand now why it says when someone comes to the knowledge of truth that all the angels in heaven rejoice over that, right? So we should be rejoicing over it because it means that you took your hand and you put it down into that fiery flame and you pulled somebody out of damnation, right? And not necessarily you, you're an obedient vessel, right? But without you being obedient, Yahweh can't work through you. So you have to be a willing vessel in order for the Spirit to flow through you. Now, Michael, can you do me a favor? Can you go to Lamentations chapter 2, 13 through 16?
Oh, yes. I love Lamentations.
And I'm going to go to Revelation 9. And listen to this, guys. It says, I'm going to start in verse 2. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. What do you think this furnace is, guys? And the sun and the air were darkened by the reason of the smoke of the pit. Well, how many times have we seen that the sun was going to be blotted out, right? Now we got to start wondering, okay, how? And there came out of the smoke, listen, out of what? The smoke. Remember, listen to this very closely. Remember Manoah and his wife when the Messiah ascended up in the smoke of the offering? This is the opposite of that. This smoke is bringing up the demons from the bottomless pit. So don't tell me that the Messiah didn't pre-exist. Don't tell me that the Messiah was not the angel of Yahweh, Phanuel. He was, and I can prove it right here in the prior chapter, right? And the whole book of Revelation says very clearly he's an angel, right? Or he was an angel. And there came out of the smoke locust upon the earth, and unto them was given power as scorpions of the earth have power. Okay, so how does a scorpion of the earth have power? It stings its prey and paralyzes it, right? It pretty much can overwhelm even humans. Now, this is something important because what does the scripture say? By their sorcery, by their pharmakia, were all the nations deceived. I want you guys to really think about this, okay? And and it was commanded that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, Okay, what did we just read? All flesh is grass, right? Neither any green tree. Well, a green tree is a tree that is righteous. A dry tree is an unrighteous tree, according to the prophets, right? Neither any tree, but only those men which do not have the seal of Yahweh in their foreheads. What is the seal of Yahweh? We can go back and read it shortly, but it tells us very clearly those that keep the commandments of Yahweh and do the
The
works.
Torah.
It's the Torah, yeah. That would be the seal. And to
Isaiah
them,
9.
go ahead, Michael, sorry.
No, I was just saying Isaiah 9.
Isaiah 9, yep. And to them, it was given that they should not unalive them. See, now when people say, oh, Yahweh doesn't punish people in that way to torture them, listen very closely. It was given to the scorpions that they should not unalive Israel, but that they should be tormented for 5 months. How are people going to say that, for instance, and I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just saying, how are people going to deny the serpent seed doctrine and say that tribulation could be for anybody else but Israel? Right? Israel is who the covenants were given to. So who's coming in to torment who here? It was given unto them, the scorpions. Who are the scorpions? It tells us in Scripture who they are. But instead of taking their life, Israel's to be tormented for 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man, right? So picture this locust army with spears striking you. So wait, the same way they
Also,
struck Yeshua. Go ahead, Michael.
I want to point out that, guys, what that place that calls themselves something that they're not just recruited over 1,000 pastors over there. They're building their army. That's the church persecution that's going to be against us over here in the West or wherever else they came from. Australia, I don't know, but I know for a fact they just drug over those pastors and priests over there to prepare them to brainwash them into coming against us.
Yep.
It's about to fall down, guys. There's a reason why they're doing everything right now,
Now,
and it ain't for no reason.
and doesn't it say that they shall ride in on the shoulders of the Philistines? Esau will ride in on the shoulders of the Philistines. What does that mean? That Esau is controlling the very people you see running up and down your streets with their flags. Okay? So, again, not an opinion. This is what Scripture says. If you have eyes to see and ears to hear, it'll make perfect sense. And the shapes
One
of
of them was in Daniel's live the other night.
what's that?
I said one of them was in Daniel's live the other night
Yep.
with you, arguing with me and you.
Yeah, and that guy that came up at the very end, he had no idea what he was talking about. Came in talking about a Trinity, right? Came in talking about how if those purple Power Rangers saw us, how they might want to do some harm to us. And my reaction was, I don't care.
I don't care.
Why should I care what somebody else thinks over what the word of Yahweh says? Makes no sense. That's why would I live in fear instead of living the way Yeshua lived, which was bold. Yeshua said things the way they were. He didn't beat around the bush. He told people how it was. All right, it
He's
says,
made our foreheads like flint, brother. We ain't backing down.
yep. And the shapes of the locust were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and their heads were as it were crowned like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men, and they had hair as the hair of women. Think about this for a second, guys. This is prophetic speech, and it's also describing how they're going to act, right? It's giving you, let me just say, the rainbow nation, the rainbow people, okay? And all of the evilness that you can think of that Satan does, these are the people that are out there in these crowds doing all this stuff. Just look at, when you watch the news next time, just look at their faces and the color of their hair and all of that stuff. Okay, and I'm not saying that about every single one of them. I'm just saying they're recruiting Israel into their stuff, right? That's what's happening. So it says, and they had the hair of women and the teeth of lions. Okay, so who surrounded the Messiah when he was being crucified? Lions and the bulls of Bashan. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sounds of their wings as the sounds of chariots of many horses running into battle. How many times did we read about that these were like men in battle array? coming on horses, and they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and and their power was to hurt men for 5 months. And the king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. So again, when I asked that question yesterday, was Satan an angel? Yes, of course he was. He came down and he went into the garden, and the rest of them went into the daughters of men. Okay? Whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. Okay, so interesting how Revelation here is showing us that this locust army is coming to torture. And Yahweh says it's his army. He's sending them. So I don't like it when I hear people say, well, yeah, Yahweh's all loving. He would never do anything like that. Who do you think's controlling this army, guys? And we can go into more of that later, but
Yeah, Isaiah 13 tells you that it's his army. He's prepared.
mhm. All right, now we're going to
I
finish.
got Lamentations 2 up, by the way,
Yeah,
just
go
letting you
ahead
know.
and read that. I'm going to pull up Revelation 12 because we're going to read the next 2 verses there.
What did you want me to read exactly? Because I also see something here I want to read too.
Well, read whatever you want to read as well. I think I just wanted you to read like maybe 13 through 16, but you can add whatever you want.
Okay. Um, I'm going to just read 2 through 5. Is that okay? And then I'll read yours?
Yeah, man, go for it.
All right. It says, Yahweh has swallowed up without compassion all the pastures of Jacob. So Israel scattered to the four corners of the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling us here that he's literally swallowed us up. And it says, in his wrath, he has thrown down the, the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. That's you guys over there in the land. He has brought them down to the ground. He has profaned the reign and its rulers. In the heat of his displeasure, the first half of the tribulation, he has cut off every horn of Israel, which is all the sovereigns, the rulers of Israel. He has withdrawn his right hand from before the enemy, meaning he's taken away the Messiah. The Messiah isn't going to help us here. And he burns against Jacob like a flaming fire consuming all around. He has bent his bow. We've read that multiple times with the enemy. He has bent his bow like an enemy. He has appointed his right hand as an adversary. And he slays all who delighted the eye in the tent of the daughter of Zion. He has poured out his wrath. And it's going back and forth between the first half and the last half of the tribulation.
Mm-hmm.
What did you want me to read?
I think 13 through 16 is fine.
13 through 16. How shall I admonish you? To what shall I compare you, O daughter of Jerusalem? To what shall I liken you to comfort you, O maiden daughter of Zion? For your breach is great as the sea. Who shall heal you? The breach. This breach goes back to Isaiah 59. I think, no, it's not 59, it's 53 or so. Talking about repairing the breach, rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, fixing what's been broken because it's broken right now, guys.
Yeah. Listen to
Your
this.
priest, huh?
Listen to what Michael's about to read.
Your priests have seen falsehood and folly for you, and have not shown you your wickedness to turn back your captivity, but their visions for you are false and misleading messages. All who pass by have clapped their hands at you, they have whistled, they have shaked their heads at the daughter of Jerusalem. Is this the city that is called the perfection of loveliness, the joy of all the earth? All your enemies have opened their mouth against you. They have whistled and they gnashed their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. This is certainly the day we waited for. We have found it. We have seen it. You want me to keep going? I can keep going.
No, that's perfect. So, guys, understand if you're interested in understanding when Yahweh gave us this bill of divorcement, read the Book of Lamentations. It's not that big of a book. It's a really good read, but when you read it, try to read it with the understanding that you're going into it to see it with your spirit, not with your what you're reading it on a base level, okay? You'll understand, again, this is about to go, it's covering what we've already covered, but it's also about to go into what we're about to cover in Revelation. So we left off in Revelation chapter 12, verse 2. Now I'm going to read 3 through 5. Michael, can you go to Isaiah 49, 14 through 18?
14 through 18.
All right. So I'm going to read 3 through 5. It says, let's just start at verse 1. It says, there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered. Now we know what that's talking about, right? And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. His tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now listen very closely. Verse 5, and she brought forth a man-child. Who's the man-child? Who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. Well, what does the Messiah say in Revelation chapter 2? Those of you that endure, you men that endure until the end, shall be saved, and you'll be given the morning star. As a matter of fact, let me stop really quickly. I'll finish this. To rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up to Yahweh and to his throne. Now, people say this is talking about the Messiah. No, it's not. I just proved to you guys through the prophecies it had nothing to do with Yeshua other than they will rule and reign with the Messiah. They are the high priests of the new earth. They come down in full authority to rule and reign equally with the Messiah over their regions of land that they're appointed to. Okay? So, I want to show you something, though. I just want to go back to Revelation chapter 2, and I want to show you guys something, okay? Because it's the same wordage that's being used. It says, and verse 26, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works until the end, to him I will give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. Okay? And as of the vessels of potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I have received of my Father. So we have to do exactly what Yeshua did, guys, all of us. And I will give him the morning star. Interesting.
That's why, sorry.
No, you're good, man. Go ahead.
I wanted to point out that's why Yeshua said, it is not right for the servant to be greater than his master, but to be just like him.
There you go. So, verse 5 says, and she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child, this is mid-tribulation, guys, when the 144,000 are bought free like the Levites were bought free in the Old Testament. The blood of the 2 witnesses seals up the 144. In other words, it buys them free from the 7 years. If you go back in the Torah, if you're a slave to a brother or a sister, and you're working for that person, after the 7th year, you have to cut them free, right? So think about this from the perspective of the 144,000. The 2 witnesses come down, and their blood purchases the 144,000, and they're bought free from that 7-year tribulation. Okay? Now, again, they're going to be protected throughout the entirety of tribulation. Nothing is going to harm them, because once tribulation begins, that means all of them will know who they are. They're going to know what their calling is. And once the last one wakes up, it's on. Tribulation will begin. Okay, and we'll get into that later. Michael, can you pick up? I've got to mute real quick. I got to go grab a drink. I'm about to thirst to death. And
No drinks. You'd be all right.
I know that you can
I got you.
cover. I know you can cover everything. So, guys, I will be right back. Michael's going to pick up in Isaiah 49, 14 through 18, and then Michael, after that, if you want, can you go through Micah chapter 4, 8 through 13 as well?
Yeah, Micah 4. 8 through 13.
All right, I'm going to mute up. I'll be right back, guys. Just give me 1 second.
Sorry, guys, I got to note this because if I read this, I'm going to forget where to go afterwards. All right, so Isaiah 49, verse 14. But Zion says, Yahweh has forsaken me, and Yahweh has forgotten me. Would a woman forget her nursing child and not have compassion on the son of her womb? Though they forget, I never forget you. See, I have inscribed you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are always before me. Your sons shall hurry, your destroyers, and those who laid you waste depart from you. Lift up your eyes round about and see, all of them gather together and come to you. As I live, declares Yahweh, you shall put on all of them as an ornament and bind them on you as a bride does. That's pretty powerful, guys. And it's actually Yahweh speaking unto the Messiah, talking about the remnant coming from the four corners of the earth. Um, let's see. Where your places the sons. He wanted me to go over to Micah chapter 4, verse 8. And you, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto you shall it come, even the first dominion, the kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem. Notice he says, and you, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion. It's talking about a Messiah here. He's talking to the Messiah here. Also, who have ears to hear. Now, why do you cry out aloud? Is there no king in you? Is your counselors perished? For pangs have taken thee as a woman in travail. There it is again, Revelation chapter 12. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shall you go forth out of the city, and you shall dwell in the field, and you shall go even to Babylon. There shall you be delivered. There Elohim shall redeem you from the hand of thine enemies. Now also many nations are gathered against you, talking about the locust army right here, that say, let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion. But they know not the thoughts of Yahweh, neither understand they his counsel. For he shall gather them as the sheaves into the floor. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hooves brass, and you shall beat in pieces many people. And I will consecrate their gain into Elohim, and their substance unto Yahweh of the whole earth. And guys, this is a pretty deep thing what we just read here that a lot of people are having a very hard time with. I'm trying to figure out how I want to put it in words. The best way that I can explain this is remember what happened to Israel's sister and with Shechem. And when Shechem said, "Oh, let us, why don't you come into our land and you can be a part of our people, and we can, you can give your sons to our daughters, and we'll give, our sons to your daughters, and we'll become one people." And what happened? They said, "Yes, but you have to be circumcised until the third day." And what happened to them? On the third day, they were the most sore, and then Israel went in and slew them, which was Levi and Judah, and I believe Simon as well. It was mainly Levi that led that slaying. So when we're reading this, and it says, "Now also many nations are gathered against you that say, let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion. But they know not the thoughts of Yahweh, neither understand they his counsel, for he shall gather them as the sheaves to the floor," meaning they're coming, but it's not for a good thing, what they think they're coming for. And I'll just leave it as that. I don't think I should really speak too much more on that.
Yeah. Also, again, we're getting into talking about the 144,000, right? Because we were talking about the man child. So Michael, can you pull up Revelation 14, starting at verse 14 through 20? I'm going to read something out of Isaiah 41. Listen very closely to this. It says in verse 13, "For I, Yahweh, your Elohim, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thou worm, Jacob, and you men of Israel. I will help thee, saith Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth." Well, what does that mean? This is talking about the 144,000. I'm going to prove that this man-child is not the Messiah. Although they have the attributes of the Messiah, it's not talking about the Messiah being born and him being called up to the throne of Yahweh. It says, "Thou shalt thresh the mountains, the nations, and beat them small, and shall make the hills as chaff." Remember when the Messiah said in the New Testament, in the book of Luke, he says, "Bring those who would not have me to rule over them, bring them before me and slay them before my feet." And the people are looking at him like, what is he talking about? Right? This is what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This is this threshing instrument having sharp teeth that will thresh the mountains and beat them, just like we just read in Revelation chapter 2, this promise that will be given. And we'll go back and read about the Church of Philadelphia shortly, but if you're a man, when we read about the Church of Philadelphia, understand when the Messiah is addressing the 7 churches, he's talking to the 7 continents, okay? Again, it's prophetic speech, and people look right past that. So it says, "Thou shalt fan them as the wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them, and thou shalt rejoice in Yahweh and shall glory in the Holy One of Israel." Okay? Now, Michael, go ahead and read Revelation 14.
Revelation 14, and I looked, and verse 14 through 20. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat, like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. That same threshing instrument that Adrian just read about in Isaiah. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, "Thrust in your sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe." And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, "Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe." And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse's bridle, by the space of 1,600 furlongs.
Now, something also I wanted to point out where Michael was just reading. Wait, am I in the right place? Yeah, Revelation 14. No, I'm in 13. No wonder. Okay, listen very closely because I point this out a lot, guys. In Revelation, starting in Revelation 14, listen to how this is worded. If you don't believe the Messiah preexisted, listen to how he's referred to, okay? It says, "And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and a sharp sickle in his hand." This is Revelation 8, right? "And another angel came out of the temple." So when we get to verse 15 right here, and it says, "And another angel came out of the temple," what does that insinuate about the first that came, right? Why would it say, "and another angel"? It says, "And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat." It doesn't say anything about angel. It just says, one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, being king, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And then it says in verse 15, and another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap. Okay, so who's returning in Revelation 19 and all the armies of heaven following him? Is it not Yeshua? So again, just something to think about. Now, I want to go back to where we were in Psalms 48. Michael, would you be okay reading Psalms 48, 1 through 14?
Sure.
I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit, but listen very closely, because again, we're talking about the man-child. And when Michael's done reading Psalms 48, 1 through 14, we're going to talk about how this man-child is going to be bought free.
Tell you what, I would prefer to read it out of this book, but I'll just read it here. It says, Great, 48 verse 1, Great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised in the city of our Elohim, in the mountain of his holiness, the promised land. Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. Yahweh is known in her palaces for a refuge. For lo, the kings were assembled, they praised by together. They saw it, and so they marveled. They were troubled and hasted away. Fear took hold of them there, and pain as a woman in travail. You breakest the ships of Tarshish with an east wind. Talking about the nations, Ishmael to be exact. Hold on, my computer's. Sorry, my computer was lagging out.
Beautiful, guys, how all the prophets and even the book of the Psalms, when the Messiah said, isn't it written in your law, I said ye are gods? Well, we're in the book of Psalms. So now we're reading about the woman that's travailing in the book of Psalms as well.
I'd also like to go to something in Psalms too, if that's okay.
Sure.
After we're done.
Yep.
As we have heard, so have we seen in the city of Yahweh of hosts, in the city of our God. Yahweh will establish it forever, Selah. We have thought of your loving kindness, O Yahweh, in the midst of your temple. According to your name, O Yahweh, so is the praise unto the ends of the earth. Thy right hand is full of righteousness. The Messiah, right there.
Yep, there you go. I was going to say, I want to make sure people understand this. Yahweh's right hand is full of righteousness. Not just the Messiah, though, that this is speaking about. It's talking about Yeshua with 144. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. Let Mount Zion rejoice. Let the daughters of Judah, you guys in the land, be glad because of your judgments. Walk about Zion and go around about her. Tell the towers thereof. Mark ye well her bulwarks, consider her palaces, that ye may tell it to the generation following. For this Elohim is our Elohim forever and ever. He will be our guide, even unto death.
Now listen, guys, it says in verse 11, Judah, be glad because of thy judgments. In other words, because of what's coming and what they're going to do, okay? And then it says, mark ye well her bulwarks, considering her palaces, that you may tell it to the generation following, right? How interesting is that? That Judah woke all of us that were sound asleep up. Okay, Michael.
That's right.
You said you had something you wanted to read, and then I just have something really quick I wanted to cover in Isaiah 52. It says, awake, awake, put on strength, O Zion. Put on your beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city, for henceforth there shall no more come into the uncircumcised and the unclean. Shake the dust, shake from the dust, arise, sit down, O Jerusalem, loose thyself from thy bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. For thus saith Yahweh, you have sold yourselves for nothing, and you have been redeemed without money. We've been purchased by the blood of Yeshua. Okay? I'm not going to go any further. I just wanted to point this out. Again, awake, put on strength, O Zion, put on your beautiful white garments, righteousness, O Jerusalem, the holy city from henceforth. There shall no more come in anything that is uncircumcised and unclean. This is Revelation 21. Okay, so Michael, if you got something you want to read out of Psalms, go right ahead, and then I'm going to go. We're about to get into something a little bit deeper, just pertaining to this being bought free and purchased. It's pretty wild. I'm going to go to Ezekiel 37.
Okay. Before you go to Ezekiel 37, can you do me a favor now?
Yeah.
Can you go over to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 and read 1 through, I think it's 9?
I don't know if I can pull up wisdom while I'm on here. I don't have that tab open.
Can you read it in the book?
Hold on, I'd rather just pull it up. Let me see if I can. I'll just Google it, but I'm trying to figure out how to move this thing out of my way so I can open a new tab. There we go. Hold on. I still can't see. That thing's in my way. Where am I? Wisdom of Solomon. Now I got to move this back on.
I tell you what, Jason's here. He said he would help. He just messaged me. If you want, that'd be great.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to. Okay, here we go. Wisdom of Solomon. What chapter?
3.
Okay, and then you said where?
1 through 9, I believe it is.
Okay, it says.
Hold on, let me read this first. Let me read this for real quick before you jump into that. I'm gonna show something. So in Psalms, we're gonna go over to Psalms 144. It says, "Blessed be Yahweh my rock, who is teaching my hands for fighting, my fingers for battle." Who do you think is speaking here? This is Yeshua's spirit speaking through Psalms, who is teaching my hands for fighting and my fingers for battle. Who did he say was going to sit at the left and the right hand in Matthew, what is it, 22, 23? When the woman came up and said, "Yeshua, can I have these two sons sit at your left and your right hand?" And they would have to go through the same persecution that he would go through. Did you know that those two sons that were before him are actually Benjamin and Judah? And he said, "Verily, verily, you shall indeed drink of my cup, which is of the flogging of the nations." And that's all I'm going to say about it. Blessed be Yahweh my rock, who is teaching my hands for fighting, my fingers for battle, my loving commitment and my stronghold, my tower and my deliverer, my shield in whom I take refuge, who is subduing peoples under me. Yahweh, what is man that you should know him? A son of man that you should think of him? Man is like a breath, his days like a passing shadow. Incline your heavens, O Yahweh, and come down. Touch the mountains that they smoke. Send forth lightning, key word right there. Remember that word right there, lightning, and scatter them. Send forth your arrows and confuse them. Send forth your hand, which is the Messiah himself, from above, and rescue me and deliver me out of great waters. From the hand of foreigners, proving that the hand of foreigners is the waters. Brother, could you read that Wisdom of Solomon there?
Yeah. First, I just wanted to say shalom, Jason, brother. It's good to see you. If you guys want, we can work in order here, and I can when we get done with this, I can kind of like I'll load you guys up. I'll give Jason some scripture, and then Michael some scripture, because we got a lot to cover, and I think we've been going for almost 3 hours. We're getting close to the 3-hour mark. So, not that that's a big deal. I have a couple hours left, but we'll work on it that way. Can you, Jason, are you able to speak? Are you up here?
Here? Yes, I'm just letting
Okay,
y'all
good.
speak.
Good. All right, cool. All right, let me read this. You said 1 through 9 or 10?
I think it's 1 through 9. I don't have it pulled up here. I'm pretty sure it's 1 through 9. If you want, I'll look real quick. Just give me
No, it
one
says,
second.
I'll just read. It says, "But the souls of righteousness are in the hand of Yahweh, and no torment will ever touch them. In the eyes of the foolish, they seemed to have unalived, and their departure was thought to be a disaster, and their going from us to be their destruction. But they are at peace." Guys, listen to this. "For though in the sight of others they were punished, their hope is for of immortality. Having been disciplined a little, they will receive great good, because Yahweh tested them and found them worthy of himself." This is why they're called to the throne. "Like gold in the furnace he tried them, and like a sacrificial burnt offering he accepted them. In the time of their visitation, they will shine forth and will run like sparks through stubble. They will govern the nations and rule over the peoples, and Yahweh will reign over them forever. Those who trust in him will understand truth, and the faithful will abide with him in love, because grace and mercy are upon his holy ones, and he watches over his elect."
That's so beautiful, is it not? And what did it say in verse 6 and 144? Send forth lightning and scatter them, and send forth your arrows to confuse them,
And
right?
and it says right here in verse 7, they will run like sparks through the
Spark.
stubble.
You have the hands of the Messiah, then you have the fingers of the Messiah, the left and the right hand, Benjamin and Judah in the 144.
Mhm.
It's important, guys.
Okay, that was beautiful. Now let's go to, let's see, I forgot where I was now. Oh, um, is anybody up for reading 28 verses?
Yeah, I got it. Y'all been reading for a while.
All right, Ezekiel 37, 1 through 28.
Hey, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back, okay?
No,
Oh, okay. Well, I'll hold it then.
just kidding, man, go for it.
Bro, I'm pregnant. You can't tell me that. Sorry, I was just making light of humor of what we were talking about earlier in the other live.
Okay, so Ezekiel 37, 1 through 28. Brother, can you hear me?
Sorry about that, man. I was on mute. Michael's forgetfulness rubbed off on me there for a second. Yeah, 1 through 28.
All right. Basically, it's the whole Ezekiel 37. The hand of Yahweh was upon me and took me out by the Spirit of Yahweh and set me down in the midst of the valley. And it was filled with bones. And he made me pass among them all around. And see, there were very many on the surface of the valley. And see, they were very dry. And he said to me, Son of man, would these bones live? And I said, O Master Yahweh, you know. Again he said to me, Prophesy to these bones, and you shall say to them, O dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus said the Master Yahweh to these bones, See, I am bringing into you a spirit, and you shall live. And I shall put the sinews on you, and bring flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put a spirit in you, and you shall live, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. And I prophesied as I was commanded, as I prophesied, there was a noise, and there was a rattling, and the bones came together, bone to bone. And I looked and saw sinews, and flesh came upon them, and skin covered them, but there was no spirit in them. He then said to me, Prophesy to the spirit, prophesy, son of man, and you shall say to the spirit, Thus said the Master Yahweh, Come from the four winds, O spirit, and breathe on these killed ones, so that they live. And I prophesied as he commanded me, and the spirit came into them, and they lived, and they stood upon their feet, a very great army. And he said to me, Son of man, these bones are all the house of Israel. See, they say, Our bones are dry, our expectancy has perished, and we ourselves have been cut off. Therefore prophesy, and you shall say to them, Thus said the Master Yahweh, See, O my people, I am opening your burial sites, and shall bring you up from your burial sites, and shall bring you into the land of Israel. And you shall know that I am Yahweh, when I open your burial sites, my people, and bring you up from your burial sites. And I shall put my spirit in you, and you shall live, and I shall settle you in your own land. And you shall know that I, Yahweh, have spoken, and I have done it, declares Yahweh. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, And you, son of man, take a stick for yourself, and write on it, for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick, and write on it, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions. Then bring them together for yourself into one stick, and they shall become one in your hand. And when the children of your people speak to you, saying, Won't you show us what you mean by these? Say to them, Thus said the Master Yahweh, See, I am taking the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his companions, and I shall give them unto him with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand. And the sticks on which you write shall be in your hand before your eyes. And speak to them, Thus said the Master Yahweh, See, I am taking the children of Israel from among the nations, wherever they have gone, and shall gather them from all around, and I shall bring them into their land, and I shall make them one nation in the land, on the mountains of Israel. And one sovereign shall be the sovereign over all of them. And let them no longer be two nations, and let them no longer be divided into two reigns. And they shall no longer defile themselves with their idols, nor with their disgusting manners, nor with any of their transgressions. And I shall save them from all their dwelling places in which they have sinned. And I shall cleanse them, and they shall be my people, and I be their Elohim, while David my servant is sovereign over them. And they shall all have one shepherd, and walk in my right rulings, and guard my laws, and shall do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given to Jacob my servant, where your fathers dwelt, and they shall dwell in it, they and their children's children forever. And my servant David be their prince forever. And I shall make a covenant of peace with them, an everlasting covenant. It is with them. And I shall place them and increase them, and shall place my set apart place in their midst forever. And my dwelling place shall be over them, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And the nations shall know that I, Yahweh, am setting Israel apart, when my set apart place is in their midst forever.
Beautiful. Hallelujah. Guys, for the people that say that we are in a new covenant, that's not what we just read, right? Did anybody hear that come out of Jason's mouth at all?
Nope.
Again, we have to be very, very clear with what it is we're reading. So I just want to give a brief overview. We have been a valley of dry bones, right? With no understanding. We have had no breath in us, right? We prior to being woken up, we had the prince and power of the air ruling over us. Even though we were children that were called from the foundation of the earth, doesn't mean that we had the Holy Spirit, right? So again, I want to reiterate this valley of dry bones that rises up and becomes a mighty army. A remnant, it's still a remnant, but they become a mighty army. And this mighty army is going to battle at a certain point where the blood will be up to the horse's bridle. But
North.
we're going to travel north from the south to the north in between a range of mountains, which will hold back the fallen until Yeshua and the 144 arrive. But this covenant of peace happens at a very particular time, right? And it says that when that covenant is made, there will be no transgression. There will be no sins, no idols, no detestable things, none of that stuff. He will cleanse us from all unrighteousness. So again, John reiterates this in seeing this and how it happens. So I don't like giving excuses, like Sister Candace just said. This is not about excuses. This is about understanding what it is we're reading and going line by line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. So I went to Ezekiel or Isaiah 37 thinking you guys were reading along, and then I looked up and I'm like, good grief, we're not even in the right chapter. Okay, I'm going to read Isaiah chapter 4, 2 through 4. Michael, can you pull up Isaiah 62, 11 through 12? And Jason, can you pull up Isaiah 51, 11? All right, it says, "And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach. In that day shall the branch of Yahweh be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely. For them that are escaped of Israel." For who? Is this for all of the nations? No, it's for those who have escaped the judgment. And it's not by you hiding or you thinking that you're going to do something. It's by Yahweh and his 2 witnesses and his 144 that will bring us back into that land. "And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even every one that is written amongst the living in Jerusalem." So again, this once saved, always saved nonsense, not true, right? If you're written amongst the living, Yahweh already knows the beginning from the end. "When Yahweh shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion." So when people say, well, the Messiah took away all of our sin, not for us to continue to sin. He took away the sin of all of the people of Israel who have sinned. And since the time that he came, let me make that clear. He took away that sin, and then he says very clearly through his teachings that you are to go back into covenant with the Father. So when he comes to the earth as a man, he says, "Repent, for the kingdom is at hand." And then we see him getting baptized. So he's our example. We follow his path. We get into that water if we've been called of Yahweh, right? And then the Messiah washes us and cleanses us from that sin, and we are born again. Now, people will say, oh, you think you guys are perfect and you can live perfectly and you don't ever sin? No, but we understand what the Torah means and how to keep the Torah, and in doing so, it pleases the Father. And if we mess up, Paul makes it very clear that we can approach the throne of grace boldly, and not for willful sin, for unintentional sin, right? So again, those types of things happen where people lose their temper or they fight with a brother or sister or whatever. Those things are going to happen, and Paul said that as well. There has to be heresies amongst brethren in order for the light of the truth to shine and prevail. And I'm paraphrasing. So he says that in verse 4 that Yahweh shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion. Again, this is Revelation 21. When Yahweh washes away all sin and he makes us clean again. Those are the white garments. That's not talking about the Messiah coming and now all of a sudden you confessed his name and you're saved forever. No. "And shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning." Okay, that's again talking about the 144. "And Yahweh will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion and upon her assemblies a cloud of smoke by day and a shining of a flame of fire by night." Interesting, because we read about this in the Exodus, the first Exodus, right? "For upon all the glory shall be defensed. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and a place of refuge for a covert from the storm and the rain." I don't know about you guys, but this stuff just brings a smile to my face. I'm overjoyed listening to this. Okay, anybody that wants to go, whoever's got Isaiah 62 pulled up, and then Isaiah 51:11.
All right. It says, "See, Yahweh has proclaimed to the end of the earth, saying to the daughter of Zion," which is us, "See, your deliverance has come, See, his reward is with him in his work before him, and they shall be called the holy people, the redeemed of Yahweh. And you shall be called sought out, a city not forsaken.
Okay.
Isaiah 51:11. And let the ransomed of Yahweh return, and they shall come to Zion with their singing, with everlasting joy on their heads. Let them attain joy and gladness. Sorrow and sighing shall flee away.
So remember, how beautiful are the feet of those that bring glad tidings, right? How beautiful are the feet of those 144 men, 144,000 men who choose to walk in covenant with the Father and stand up and proclaim the truth and blow that shofar as loud as they can, no matter what is standing in front of them, like that guy yesterday saying, oh, there's people that could come after you. I don't care. I do not care. So I'm going to read, again, I'm going to be in Isaiah. And again, it'll be verse 11. It says, Isaiah 51:11. It says, therefore the redeemed of Yahweh shall return and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their head. Crowns, guys. And they shall obtain the gladness and joy, and sorrow and mourning shall flee away. I, even I, he that comforteth you. Who art thou, that thou shouldest be afraid of man that shall die, of the Son of Man, which shall be made as grass? So again, for those men, why would you be afraid of somebody coming against you when you have the Most High standing behind you, right? So this is super important as well. And I'm just trying to show this. All we're covering right now is this man-child, this 144, and we're covering this very lightly. I don't want to go into a whole teaching on the 144 because we'll be here all day long. All right, so next, Michael, could you read Revelation 14:4? And I'm just going to reread Isaiah 51:11. Listen very closely. When Michael reads Revelation 14:4, this will make perfect sense. Therefore, the redeemed of Yahweh shall return and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their heads. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and mourning shall flee away.
These are those who were not defiled with women, for they are maidens. They are those following the Lamb wherever he goes. They were redeemed from among men, being first fruits to Yahweh and to the Lamb.
Hallelujah. All right, so what I'm going to do now, guys, we're going to go back to Revelation 12. I'm going to read verse 6, and then we're going to cover everything that's in verse 6. So one of you brothers, Jason, could you go to Zephaniah 2, chapter 2, verse 3? And Michael, can you go to Isaiah 4, 2 through 4? And I'll go to Revelation 12:6. This is working really good. I like doing it this way because it gives us time to cover everything and just really pushing the point through, I guess. All right, it says, now I'm going to reread everything just so we can keep going. It says, and there appeared a great wonder in the heaven, and a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. Now these are kingdoms, guys. Right in verse 3, this is talking about these kingdoms that are being established. And his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, or a threshing instrument. Okay, these are the reapers. And her child was caught up to Yahweh and to his throne. Okay, so now we understand the man-child and what their role is. Verse 6, and the woman fled into the wilderness. This is the remnant, okay, where she had a place prepared of Yahweh, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Now, question. Where is the remnant going and who's feeding her? Well, for all the people that are in the promised land right now, all the people that speak against those brothers and come against them are literally blaspheming the Holy Spirit. And this is why we keep warning you guys. If you hear Jason teaching and he's teaching the truth, you guys better make sure that you're listening. I'm not talking to people in here. I'm talking about the people that are always going after him and all of that. You better be very careful how you treat Yahweh's elect, because I'm telling you right now, it will not end well for you. Now, verse 6 is saying that the whole remnant is going to flee into the wilderness, okay? After the 144,000 are caught up, the remnant will be in the land, okay? And there's a place that's already prepared. I'll put it that way. There's a place already prepared that the remnant should be fed there and hidden there for, this is the 3.5 year period, okay? And I'll stop right there, and then you guys can go on ahead and read the verses. Jason first and then Michael. And then we'll move on.
All right, Zephaniah 2, verse 3. Seek Yahweh, all you meek ones of the earth, who have done his right ruling. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. If so, be that you are hidden in that day of wrath of Yahweh.
Isaiah.
I just want to say one thing real quick. What Jason just read is, what did he say? He said, seek ye Yahweh, all you meek of the earth. Who inherits the earth? The meek, right? Which have wrought his judgments, okay? Which are keeping his commandments. Seek righteousness, seek meekness, okay? Don't be out here waving your hands. Hey, we have the key of David. We're this, we're that. No. That it may be that you shall be hid in the days of Yahweh's anger. Okay, so this is, you want to be hidden away from the wrath of Yahweh? Follow in his footsteps and keep his commandments. It's that simple. Sorry, Michael, go ahead.
No, you're good. I think that was good that you pointed that out, because we have so many people out here teaching, treating people like absolute crap because they think they've given a head of authority running around saying they have the key of David, and Yeshua made this clear that what they thought they had, they will be taken away.
Yep.
So, and you can clearly see that. So Isaiah chapter 4:2, in that day, the branch of Yahweh shall be splendid and esteemed, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for the escaped ones of Israel, escaped ones. And it shall be that he who is left in Zion and he who remains in Jerusalem is called holy, everyone who is written among the living in Jerusalem. When Yahweh has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion and rinsed away the blood of Jerusalem from her midst, by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning.
By the spirit of what?
Burning, like a flame, a fire.
And
the Messiah, the 144.
In the New Testament, how does Paul describe the earth? As melting away like fervent heat? And are not all the angels ministers of flame of fire? And will we be made just like the angels? Listen, guys, for the men that are part of that 144, understand that you will be made, you will be given the morning star as soon as you're called to the throne. You cannot stand before the throne of Yahweh, but you will be taken up in your flesh just like Yeshua was. You're bought free. Just like...
You want me to read that?
Just like Elijah and Enoch. Absolutely. Let's read it.
Isaiah 10, verse 16. Therefore the Master Yahweh of hosts sends leanness among his fat ones, and under his esteem he kindles a burning like the burning of a fire. And the light of Israel shall be for a fire, and his set apart one for a flame. And it shall burn and devour his weeds and his thorn bushes in one day, 1,000 years. But notice how it says the light of Israel shall be for a fire. So Israel is the fire, the 144 right there. And his set apart one for a flame, the Messiah right there. And it shall burn and devour his weeds and his thorn bushes in one day. The reprobate mind people, the children of whoring, and consume the esteem of his forest. Notice how he says his forest, and of his fertile field, both life and flesh, and they shall be as when a sick man wastes away. And the remaining trees of his forest shall be so few in number that a child will record them.
So are we called trees? Sounds like it, right? And are we
Yes.
compared to a fertile field? Flowers,
Yes.
grass?
Yes.
Okay. Michael, can you go to Deuteronomy 30, 1-5? Jason, can you go to Isaiah 43, 4-9? And I'm going to go to Isaiah 11. It says, actually, let me start in verse 10. It says, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall all the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. It's talking about Yeshua, our Messiah, right? And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand a second time again to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from all the islands of the sea. Where are we scattered again? To the four winds.
Four corners.
Yeah, right? And he shall set up an ensign for the nations. What's the ensign? It's these men blowing the trumpets, the shofar, people. It's a warning. And shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Who are the adversaries of Judah? Well, they're all above Judah right now. The whole country is against them. And guys, when that battle takes off, just understand something. It's going to be by those righteous men that stand and fight, which will not be many when you look at how large Africa is, and all of the countries above them that are going to try to come down on them. They are going to be the example. They are going to show the rest of us how to fight the rest of them off until the Messiah comes to be our backup, right? Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim, but they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines towards the west. Who's going to fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines to the west? Esau. They shall spoil them to the east together, and they shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey. Well, aren't these the same children that are cut off? Of course they're going to obey. Edom is already controlling these people, okay? So Moab and Ammon, the Moabite and the Ammonite shall never enter the congregation of Yahweh forever. Why? Well, again, they transgressed. And Yahweh shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it into 7 streams, and make men go over dry shod. And listen very closely. There shall be a highway, the 2 prophets, for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt. Interesting. And again, I would implore people to go through here and understand in verse 15, this mighty wind, when he shall shake his hand over the river, and what's going to be smitten into 7 streams to allow men to go over dry shod?
The Sea of Egypt.
Think about that for a second. 7 streams so that men can go over dry shod. And then what does the next verse say? And there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people.
What we're reading right now, guys, is literally, remember, Yahweh says, I declared the end from the beginning. Genesis 1:1, when he divided the waters from the waters and he moved the waters out of the way, and what appeared? Dry land. Mm-hmm. And what came forth from that dry land? Fruitful trees, herbs, which in the Hebrew meaning is glistening grass, shining grass, and grass.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Adrian.
No, you're good, man. I'm all for just, I want everybody to understand everything as much as possible. You guys can go ahead with your next verses. I'm pulling up mine. I'm going to Ezekiel 38, 8 through 9 once you guys are both done.
Who would you like to go first?
It-
I'm in Isaiah 43.
Yeah, you can, it doesn't matter. Anybody can go.
Isaiah 43, 4 through 9. Since you were precious in my eyes, you have been esteemed, and I have loved you, and I give men in your place and peoples for your life. Do not fear, for I am with you. I shall bring your seed from the east and gather you from the west. I shall say to the north, give them up, and to the south, do not keep them back. Bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth. All those who are called by my name, whom I have created, formed, even made for my esteem. He shall bring out a blind people who have eyes, and deaf ones who have ears. All the nations shall be assembled, and the peoples gathered. Who among them declares this, and show us former events? Let them give their witnesses to be declared right, or let them hear and say, it is truth.
Hallelujah.
Which one did you want me to read here in 31 again? Because the whole thing is really a foreshadowing, but I couldn't remember which one you wanted me to read.
I forgot where I sent you. What book are you in?
You said go to Deuteronomy 31.
Yeah, 1 through 5. Sorry.
Okay, I thought that's what you wanted me to do.
Let me go there.
And Moses went and spoke these words to all Israel, and he said to them, I am 120 years old today. I am no longer able to go out and come in. And Yahweh has said to me, you do not pass over this Yarden. Yahweh your Elohim himself is passing over before you. He shall destroy these nations. Crucial. And the name that's in here. He shall destroy these nations from before you, and you possess them. Yeshua or Joshua himself is passing over before you, as Yahweh has spoken. And Yahweh shall do to them as he did to Sihon and to Og, the sovereigns of the Amorites, and their land, when he destroyed them. And Yahweh shall give them over to you, and you shall do to them according to all the command which I have commanded you. Can I keep reading?
Absolutely.
Be strong, and this is for us guys, so you need to be listening very closely. Be strong and courageous, and do not fear, nor be afraid of them. For it is Yahweh your Elohim who is going with you. He does not fail you, nor forsake you. And Moses called Joshua and said to him before the eyes of all Israel, be strong and courageous, for you are going with this people to the land which Yahweh has sworn to their fathers to give them, and you are to let them inherit it. Sorry, I just wanted to read the little bit of the rest of that. I didn't want to go too deep. But guys, as of before, so it is again. This Torah that's being presented to us in this light that we're reading it in today is for us, guys. It's for us. It's an instruction for us. It's a foreshadowing of us going into the land with the Messiah and destroying the nations that are in it. That's what's written all throughout Zephaniah chapter 2. We said this years ago. It was the saying that I used to say, when the gathering of the elect takes place from the four corners of the earth and they go into that land, the nations that are in that land have an eviction notice waiting for them. And I read earlier, and I'll save it to the end, in Isaiah 13, our brothers and sisters that are in the land. I'll save that. It's a Rahab situation, as before. I'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah. I have roughly about an hour. I have about maybe an hour from now. I'm gonna have to we might have to cut this up in 2 parts. I don't want to like speed through this because the stuff we're touching on, guys, I just want to say this. I know for a fact all of us are going through, in what we just read earlier, what Michael was reading earlier about this having to go through this fire, this furnace of affliction. Understand that it's written in the prophets that the righteous men and women that take a stand are going to go through it. Okay? And I know I've been through it. I know Michael's been through it. I know Jason's been through it. I know every single one of the people that I speak to, we're all going through it. And the world is going to look at us and say, well, where is the promise of your God? It's happening, right? And they don't understand that, but we do. So when I'm listening to this, and again, I'm so used to reading, but when I'm listening to it, it just hits differently, I guess. I don't know. You've got 2 brothers up here on this panel, Jason and Michael, a wealth of knowledge. And again, this is a gift that Yahweh gave to all of us. And I don't ever want to take that for granted. I don't ever want people looking to us for knowledge, or looking to us, or looking at us and saying, oh, I wish I had their knowledge and all that. Just be grateful that Yahweh woke you up. Be grateful that you're willing to sit here for 3 hours and 15 minutes to hear this word. And it never gets old. I've noticed that when I'm not on here very often and I come back, I can tell, like, I'll ask people, it's been 3 hours, should we stop? And people are like, no, keep going. That's hunger for the word of Yahweh. And that's such a beautiful thing. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go to I went to Deuteronomy 30. Okay, I'm going to go to Ezekiel 38. I'm going to do 38, 8 through 9. Michael, can you do Ezekiel 36, 24 through 28? And Jason,
That's my favorite chapter.
Can you do, actually, we already did Ezekiel 37, so you could do Ezekiel 34, 13 through 16. That would be great.
You said Ezekiel 36, what specifically?
24 through 28.
Okay, I got you.
And for Jason, Ezekiel 34, 13 through 17. And then I'm going to go ahead and start reading Ezekiel. Oh gosh, I'm getting this mixed up because I keep repeating myself. Ezekiel, I'm going to go to Ezekiel 38, 8 through 9. Sorry. I know I keep coming back here for a reason. All right. It says, after many days, thou shalt be visited in the latter years. Thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel. Okay, so this is talking about the people. Again, mountains are the nations of Israel, which have been always waste. But it is brought forth out of the nations, and they will dwell safely, all of them. They shall ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all of thy bands, and many people with thee. Thus saith Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think evil thoughts. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, and I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take spoil, and to take prey, and to turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, and dwell in the midst of the land. Now, again, guys, I would recommend you read this in context, because from Ezekiel 38, as you guys can see, this is going to keep repeating, and the sword, and the sword, and the sword. It's talking about Yahweh and his destruction on all the nations that are against Israel. And then that includes the disobedient Israel as well, right? So don't think that they just get away with, sorry, I don't know why I did that, why they get to just get away with everything. No, they're being sent in as a punishment. But then the righteous ones, the ones that are the remnant that are following in Yahweh and in Messiah's footsteps, don't think that we don't get to fight back. And this is what I think that our brothers in South Africa, some, are missing. They think that we're saying, just lay down and let them walk all over you. No, we're
No.
telling you to listen to Yahweh and his instructions. And when the time comes to fight, there will be that time. Okay. So you shouldn't even be thinking that way. And that's my biggest concern when I hear people talking like that. It's like, why would you be looking forward to that? Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but at the same time, we shouldn't be looking forward to that destruction. All right, I'm done. You guys, either one, you guys can go right ahead. Probably Jason or yeah, Jason, then Michael, and then we'll continue on to about 4:30. It's 3:44 now.
Ezekiel 34, 13 through 17. And I shall bring them out from the peoples and gather them from the lands, and shall bring them to their own land, and I shall feed them on the mountains of Israel, in the valleys, and in all the dwellings of the land. In good pasture I shall feed them, and their folds shall be on high mountains of Israel. They shall lie there in a good fold, and feed in rich pasture on the mountains of Israel. I shall feed my flock and make them lie down, declares the Master Yahweh. I shall seek out the lost and bring back the strayed, and I shall bind up the broken and strengthen what was sick. But the fat and the strong I shall destroy. I shall feed them with right ruling. As for you, O my flock, thus said the Master Yahweh, see, I am judging between sheep and sheep, between rams and goats.
Beautiful. So, what does it mean when Yahweh says he's going to judge between sheep and sheep, rams and goat, or cattle and rams and the goats? What are the goats called again? When we looked in Leviticus, the scapegoat was called Azazel, and a regular goat, is called a devil.
Shaggy goat, hairy goat,
So
Esau.
we have, yeah, exactly. So what I plan on doing is, we haven't done this in a while, but I want to go through, after this teaching, we'll go through Enoch, the parable of all the different nations. I think it's, what is it, 89? Enoch chapter 89?
89, 90. It's actually, yeah. I think it's 86 actually, and all the way to 90.
Okay, so that explains the star that falls and all of that. Yeah, okay, so we'll do that teaching as well. So I definitely want to cover that. Okay, I think we're good as far as like what we've covered for that part of it. What I'd like to do, I already read Revelation 2 through 26 through 29, but I'll read it again. But in the meantime, Michael, can you go to Isaiah 11, 6 through 9? And Brother Jason, Isaiah 60, verse 17. And I'll reread Revelation 2, 26 through 29. It says, he who overcomes and keeps my works till the end, to him I will give authority over the nations. He will rule them with a rod of iron, shattering them like clay pots, as I have also received of my Father. He will give him the morning star. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit, Yahweh, says to the assemblies, the 7 continents. Okay? So again, this is why he says this when he's addressing the continents. Every single time he's done speaking, he says, he who has an ear. Not if you have an ear on your head, right? If you have the Spirit dwelling in you, it's the only way you can hear it. So when the morning star is given to us, the same way it was given, because that's exactly what Yeshua said, that you will be granted to sit with me in my throne, even as I have overcome and I am sat down with my Father in his throne. So there are many thrones, which we'll get to later. Okay, you guys can go ahead in whatever order, and then I'm going to go back to Revelation 12, and I'll read 7 through 17.
All right, this is Isaiah 11:6, and it says, and a wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and a leopard lie down with the young goat, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child leads them. And cow and bear shall feed their young ones lie down together, and a lion eat straw like an ox. And the nursing child shall play by the cobra's hole, and the weaned child shall put his hands in the adder's den. It's pretty wild. Every time you read this stuff, something else is added to understanding, and it's just beautiful. Sorry. They do no evil nor destroy in my holy mountain, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which is our Messiah, standing as a banner to the people. Unto him the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be esteemed. And it shall be in that day that Yahweh puts his hand again, a second time, to recover the remnant of his people who are left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Ethiopia, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea, the four corners of the earth. And he shall raise a banner for the nations, and gather the outcast of Israel, and assemble the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. And the envy of Ephraim shall turn aside, and the adversaries of Judah be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah not trouble Ephraim. But they shall fly down upon the shoulder of the Philistines towards the west, toward the plunder the people of the east, their hands stretching forth on Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall be subject to them.
How
You want me to keep going?
No, but how beautiful, and thank you for reading that. How beautiful, guys. Being brought back to you read through like the beginning of Genesis and all the other books that are in there, and all these stories and all the destruction and all the loss of life, and you think that there was a creator that thought about you. And again, just the human body alone, you think about when a child is born, and I don't want to get too graphic with this, but like the odds of you being the one, that comes forth, it's not by chance, right? And this is what science wants you to believe, that there's billions and billions and billions and billions of all these different little human beings that could potentially get to the egg, right? And make it fertile and whatever. My point being is Yahweh knew before he created you, like it says in Isaiah, before I knew you, before I knit you in your mother's womb. So again, people are forgetting that only those that are called of Yahweh are the ones that can then be washed by the Messiah. But the problem is Yahweh calls many, but many don't answer the call. Many don't heed the call, and they lose their salvation. So I just want to say that this teaching has been a blessing for me. I'm so glad we decided to cover this. Okay, Jason, if you want to go ahead and do yours, and then I'll read Revelation.
Isaiah 60, verse 17. Instead of bronze, I bring gold, and instead of iron, I bring silver, and bronze instead of wood, and iron instead of stones. And I shall make your officers peace, and your magistrates righteousness.
So again, this going through this fiery affliction, I know it sounds scary, but guys, we're already going through a lot of it right now, right? And the biggest obstacle that people are going to have to overcome if you are part of the remnant is your faith in Yahweh. No matter what comes, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it sounds like, it's going to be up to us to say, like David said, no, I'm not going to stand here and watch this giant destroy my people, right? So it's a matter of having faith in Yahweh and believing when Yahweh says, and again, I think Michael, when he was reading just a minute ago, was talking about the mountains of Israel. And when it talks about us going to Mount Zion, guys, this metaphor for this mountain, okay, it's not us walking up on a mountain. It's a metaphor for the nation of Israel being back in their promised lands. Not that there won't be mountains there. What I'm saying is it's the same principle as the Messiah touching down on the Mount of Olives and how they take and twist that and pervert it. It has nothing to do with that, right? So I'm going to pick up where we were, Revelation 12. Okay, so Revelation 12, verse 6 said that the woman, she fled into the wilderness. Well, we just read all of the passages of safety and how we get back to the land and how we're going to be refined and how all of our sorrows and all of that will be turned into joy. And this is just, to me, it's beautiful. So verse 7 says, now this is where it gets interesting. Let's see, I'm going to read all the way to 17. It says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was there a place found in heaven. So here, right here, people, is, again, think about what's taken place already. So first, the two prophets have to come, right? But again, this won't be, you'll see it's not going to be in chronological order. The two prophets have to come to seal up this man-child. All we've covered so far is that the man-child is born, okay? In the remnant. The whole remnant, the man-child is a part of that remnant, but the man-child itself is the 144. We haven't read where they're taken. It's saying that they're caught up to the throne of Yahweh, but it doesn't go into any more detail as far as order goes in this chapter, okay? Then it says the woman, the remnant, flees to the wilderness, right? So she's hidden away by very special people. And now we're at the war in heaven, okay? So all of this stuff is happening, and then there's a war in heaven. So that doesn't mean that the Antichrist isn't walking the earth right now, because he is, right? But first, Satan has to give him his power. So it says, and there was a war in heaven, and then we see this battle, and Satan doesn't prevail, and he's cast out of heaven, okay? Verse 9, and the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. And this is why I have this highlighted. Satan deceives the whole world, except for who? The remnant. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying, in heaven, okay, so John's hearing this loud voice in heaven saying, now is come Yeshua, salvation and strength and the kingdom of Yahweh and the power of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brethren is what? He's cast down. Okay, so right now, he's still allowed to go and accuse all of us. That's why we're all going through this. If you don't understand what I'm saying, go read the book of Job. It's not over for us either, guys. We still have a lot to get through. Yahweh is going to purify all of us until the dross is gone. You know, when you take a bar of silver or gold, they have to get all of those parts of that are not gold, all of the whatever you call it, I can't remember the name, all of the dross and the dirt and all the other stuff that's not part of the gold. It has to be separated, the imperfections. Thank you, Nikolai. So understand that now that Satan is cast down in verse 10, he can no longer go to Yahweh and start accusing, because Yahweh already knows who his chosen are. They're already in the land. They're already hidden away. And now guess what's coming? Wrath. And they overcame him. Who overcomes him? The remnant. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. Why? They were washed clean. And by the word of their testimony, that they loved not their lives unto death. That's our testimony. Same thing the guy was saying on Daniel's Live yesterday. Somebody could come after you. I don't care. Why? I don't love my life unto death. Neither should any of you. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time. Okay? So he's got 3.5 years. He's going to be establishing himself through a man, right? And that man will make himself known at the mid-tribulation point, where he will then already be in a position of power, and then he'll be able, as we get a little bit further down, you're going to see that when, I'll explain it when I get there, it'll be better after I read that. And when the dragon saw that he was cast to the earth, he persecuted the woman. Okay? So we're not going to see Satan being cast down, right? We're not going to physically see that with our eyes. We're just going to know when he's here, right? We know that he's going to be walking the earth, but we already know that there's going to be a man that he's going to give his power to. Okay? It says, he was cast down unto the earth, and he persecuted the woman, which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time, and a dividing of times. Now you guys are seeing this is not in order, okay? It's not in chronological order. It's repeating what was reiterated, what was briefly stated up a little bit higher. So in verse 14, this is where the 2 prophets are coming in, okay? So the woman, she's already in hiding, and Satan is mad now. Satan's going to go after and try to persecute the woman. And these 2 wings of a great eagle are explained in the Old Testament, just like Aaron and Moses were sent to free the people from Egypt. Well, Yahweh's sending Enoch and Elijah also to free the remnant, right? So there has to be leaders that are going to know how to get us to safety. It says, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into the place where she is nourished. So it already told us that, right? That there's a place that she's going where they must feed her. This is just reiterating this, right? Where she is nourished for a time, and a dividing of times from the face of the serpent. Now, listen very closely. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that it might cause her to be carried away of the flood. So what is this? This is the Antichrist speaking to all of the superpowers of the earth, saying, find those people that will not worship me. That's the flood. And the nations that work for Satan or the Antichrist are going to come looking for us. Okay? And the waters are the nations, brother. Nikolai, the waters. Michael, will you pull that up in Isaiah, brother? The about the waters.
Yeah.
And like a flood. And then it says,
Yeah.
so
Well, I'll just say it because I know it pretty well. It's Isaiah 59:19, and they shall fear the name of Yahweh from the west to the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, for the spirit of Yahweh drives at it.
and that's just one place. There's many places, and we'll get to that. What I'm trying to reiterate, though, is the fact that Satan has to get into a position of controlling all governments, right? Which is the beast system. Just like Nebuchadnezzar set it up. It's going to be set up the same way, but it's going to be a superpower. And Yahweh's giving Satan the power to do this. All right? So as Satan is casting this flood out of his mouth, listen to what happens. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. So the 144 are gone. The war will now be with the remnant and the battering rams that are protecting the remnant. The remnant is going to witness the battering rams fall. When they fall and lay their lives down, as we read in Revelation 6, their souls are crying out under the altar. They're like, how much longer, Yahweh, before you avenge our blood and the blood of our brothers and sisters? That's going to kindle and ignite a fire in the heart of the remnant. Okay? When that starts to happen, that's going back to Joel chapter 2, when Yahweh pours out the second measure of his spirit, which gives us, or wherever we're at, whoever's part of the remnant, it'll give them the power that David, or AKA Yeshua, had. This is why the Messiah said, these things I do, you will do, and greater. Okay? So it says, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yeshua, the Messiah. Now, the reason I read from 7, and wasn't to rush, from 7 to 17, is because a lot of what was explained in the very beginning, it's being reiterated. And the more you go through this, you'll understand the order of it. So let me go back. I want to show you guys something. Michael, could you read Revelation 3:7? And Jason, could you read Revelation 4:1?
Yeah, hold on one second. Revelation 3:7. I was doing
Actually,
something with
just
the kids real quick.
read the whole of the Church of Philadelphia.
Okay.
Listen, guys, this is to the 7 continents to the 144,000. This is the Church of Philadelphia, and it's only written to the 144,000. So, men, listen closely.
And to the messenger of the assembly of Philadelphia write, He who is holy, he who is true, he who has the key of David, he who opens and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens, says this, I know your works. See, I've put before you an open door. This is very crucial to understand. That open door is the understanding of this word, guys. And no one is able to shut it, that you have little power, yet have guarded my word, and not have. Oh man, I can't talk tonight. And have not denied my name. See, I am giving up those of the congregation of Satan who say they are Jews and are not, but lie. See, I am making them come and worship before your feet,
Stop.
and to know that.
Stop right there. Okay, so again, I want to reiterate this part as well. I keep using the word reiterate. It's getting on my nerves. It says right here, behold, I will make them Esau of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, Judah, and are not, but are liars. Behold, Yeshua, I will make them to come and worship before your feet. The 144 are worshiped right here, okay? And to know that I have loved you. Go ahead, Michael. I just wanted to point that out again.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Where was I at? See, because you have guarded my word of endurance, I also shall guard you from the hour of trial, which shall come upon all the world to try those who dwell on the earth. See, I am coming speedily. Hold what you have, meaning your works, that no one take your crown. He who overcomes, I shall make him a pillar in the temple of my Elohim, and he shall by no means go out. And I shall write on him the name of my Elohim, and the name of the city of my Elohim, the renewed Jerusalem, which comes down out of the heaven from my Elohim, and my renewed name. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the assemblies.
Now, notice how he ended that? Again, I just want to point that out. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Father is saying to the assemblies. Okay, so listen very closely to this. I want to go over this one more time. He says, to him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my Elohim. Well, isn't this explained in Revelation 21? The pillars, isn't this explained in the book of Enoch as well, or the book of Melchizedek, who the pillars are? I think the next thing, Michael, if we can find a copy, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run that video of the book of Melchizedek through ChatGPT and have it printed for me, and we'll just read it from that instead of you guys having to type it out. That's what we're going to read next. We're going to go into the book of Melchizedek. I'm going to start showing you guys, number one, the book of Melchizedek makes it very clear that in Genesis 18, when it says that Abraham saw Yahweh in the heat of the day in the plains of Mamre, then when Abraham looks up, he sees three men standing there. Yahweh's not a man, right? And also, something that's very interesting is Abraham immediately notices that the Messiah at that time had holes in his hands, and he says, you remind me of Melchizedek, because Melchizedek was living out, he was like a foreshadowing of Yeshua, as just like all the prophets, right? And all the foreshadowing. But Melchizedek also had his hands pierced, right? By a character that was very similar, that played the role of Satan, and explains the heavenly council. It explains so much, and going through it will blow your minds. The shepherds of the instrument of a shepherd. Do you guys understand that when Abraham went to save Lot, what a beautiful story that is. Because in Abraham's mind, Yahweh told him to prepare to go get Lot, and Abraham's like, I'm not a warrior. I'm not a man of violence, or I don't use swords, right? And you know what Yahweh said to him? He said to never underestimate the tools of a shepherd. right? And what is the shepherd's tool? And this was the conversation, Michael, you remember yesterday on Daniel's Live. These guys were like, we need to fight. And I said, no, it takes more of a man to walk away from a fight than it does to stand there and fight, right? You have to have the ability to know when you're standing in front of a fool and walk away, right?
They had staffs in their hands and buckets of clean water for the flocks, not wine to get them drunk.
Yep. And so I think for the sake of time, guys, like honestly, just so you guys know, Revelation 7 through 17, there's really not a whole lot of cross-referencing to do there. Yes, we could expound on it more. We could go to the book of Enoch and we can talk about, Satan
Well,
and all of that stuff. But really, that's just everything I just read in that short space is just covering what we already covered above. But also, there are more places that explain the flood that comes out of the dragon's mouth. And there are other places in Revelation that we could go to point this out. But I think just because we're at 3 hours and 45 minutes, I want this video to be able to download and upload, especially after all the work of reading and having, everybody sit here. It'd be nice to be able to upload. So, not in a rush to jump off by any means. I'm just saying I think it would be a good stopping point. But I hope that
well,
everybody sees. Is somebody trying to? Is somebody trying to talk?
yeah,
Okay.
that was me. I'm trying to just cut in just a little bit. I'm
No,
sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
About the Revelation 3 with the Church of Philadelphia, I'll give you guys a little bit of a hint, okay? Remember Jezebel when she was tossed out the window and was given to the dogs, ate her up. If you want to understand the Church of Philadelphia, go read Kings. It's in there. And that's all I'm going to say.
You guys can talk while I'm not here. You know that, right?
I didn't. I said what I was going to say. That's all I wanted to say.
Just got quiet. I just want to say thank you, Michael, and thank you, Brother Jason, for coming up. I think that this is a really great way to get through Scripture because for me, had I read all of that by myself, I would have a pounding headache. So it's nice.
Well, I went from 2 to 3 witnesses.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to say was you guys can see that we're not giving opinions. We've gone from book to book to book to book the way we're supposed to. And not only that, but hopefully it'll give you, if you're new to this, it'll give you the tools that you need. You guys see how I have things highlighted, right? And that's just 4 colors because that's all that's available on Bible. What is it? Bible Gateway, whatever it is, Bible Gateway. When you're using your regular Bible, I would strongly encourage that you get yourself a special set of pens that are made for underlining. Maybe we'll do a teaching on this, a short video, and I'll post it on Patreon for you guys. You can pick your colors, and what I've done in the front of my Bible, I just wrote down like a code, and I wrote down a color code key. So for me, I have, I'll just share a couple. I have anything to do with angels and the Messiah is always pink. Everything to do with Yahweh as well. That's all pink in my Bibles. It's a little bit different here, but it's only 4 colors. Anything that has to do with race is always underlined with orange. Anything that I find interesting is always underlined in yellow. Every prophecy that has come to pass that's been fulfilled is highlighted blue. Every prophecy that hasn't come to pass is highlighted light blue. So you'll find that like certain places in my Bible, I have like 3, 4, maybe 5 colors under certain passages because it's talking about an abundance of things. And also, if you get yourself, I have the Scriptures version that I use, and you get the wide print, it gives you a little bit of room to kind of write your cross references if you need to. But the best way to do it, in my opinion, is to get like the binder books that don't have the metal thing around it, just the little black and white notebooks. Get a stack of those. They're super cheap. They're like 99 cents, right? Yeah, see, there's Michael's. You get it. You can get it tabbed up. You can keep your notes. You can cross-reference. You can write down your books. All of that. Michael, is that a map? Okay, you're on mute, brother.
Sorry. Yes, it's a map. I've got.
Can you just go? It doesn't matter what map. Can you flip your camera around so that Africa is up straight to where people can see it? And then can you just with your finger outline that that V shape of the valley where the blood will flow to the horse's bridle? Just make like a little bit of a V shape there. Yep.
Right here.
So when we get to South Africa, guys, the bottom there, we have to travel from South Africa all the way to where Michael was just pointing. Now, you guys see the line where the equator is. Can you point out where the Kingdom of David is?
Right there.
And
I'll just pull it up on. I can pull it up on the computer real quick if you want.
actually, can you just stick to the map? Because I just want to keep this super
Yeah.
simple. I would appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it'd be right here,
now,
right there on the map.
Can you point out the land of Tira land, where Tira land was?
It'd be over here,
And then also it was a little bit higher, the land of Shinar.
up here.
Now, remember, right where Michael's finger is, that was where the Tower of Babel was built. So when I was trying to explain that to you guys earlier, Michael, if you could take your finger from where the Tower of Babel was to where Abraham traveled back to the land of Canaan. Watch this, guys. Now, from Egypt, when they left Egypt, can you show everybody where they went and how they went across the Red Sea the proper way? Just with your finger. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want people to understand.
So here would be Egypt, and he went out this way, and they went down,
They got cut
and
off
then
by
they
Moab,
crossed.
right?
Yep.
They were going to go up, right? But they got cut off by Moab and Ammon right where they were going to go.
Right here. Yep. And then they went down, and then they crossed, and this is where the rivers of Mara are, right here, where they drank, where the waters were bitter, was just below Egypt, almost in Ethiopia area. But they left, they went out where this little spot is. That's why it says in, where does it say it? In Zechariah or Zephaniah, that the border would be from the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philistines, which is right here to there. There's the border, where that border will be cut off. And all of this will be the land of Israel. But when they left out here. They got cut off by Moab. They went down here, and then they went, and that's when Egypt came out to come after them as well. And then they crossed right there into Ethiopia, and then they went to Mara, and they went south, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so the reason I was pointing that out was in Ezekiel 48, guys. It explains. It gives you the measurements in furlongs, so you can get a brief idea of what 1 furlong is, and it tells you the measurements of the promised land. Now, for the people that are asking about the map, guys, the maps are something that we're keeping close to the chest for right now for the safety of our brothers and sisters in South Africa. You can look those things up, but I was just trying to give you a rough idea. Go ahead, Michael. You can share what you want about the flat earth here.
Well, that's just the layout of the tabernacle.
Yep.
When it says the north, the south, east, west, you have here the equator that goes all the way around, the sun that goes from the east to the west, the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere. But you have to pay attention when it's also talking on outside of the tabernacle, because this here is the altar, right? And above it is the waters, which is what we see when we look up the washing pot. And knowing that the layout of the tabernacle, the north would be this side, and well, it would be like this. This is the layout of the earth, but hold on, let me see if I can pull it up here real quick for you, make it a little easier. Where's it at? Aha, here we go.
This is why, just real quickly, this is why Moses was instructed to build the tabernacle as it was in the heavens, guys. It's explained in the firmaments.
That's right. This is the first heaven right here, the washing pot, which is what we see when we look up the waters. This is the second heaven, the outside of the tabernacle. This is well, in this list in the book of Levi, there's more, but this is just a basic understanding. This is the room of thrones, which is the where the saints will be with the Messiah. You have the seven golden candlesticks, which is the seven archangels. You have the Enoch and Elijah with them, where they go and they pray and supplicate here. The high priest is only allowed up here where the Father is. And the 144 are only allowed to be here. They will serve this portion of the temple and make supplication for man.
Just
and here is the earth.
Angels did in the beginning with Adam and Eve.
Yep.
And that's huge to understanding how, like when people ask, well, how did the angels do this in Genesis chapter 3? Again, guys, the beginning of the book and the ending of the book are a mirror. And if you leave out Enoch, Jasher, Jubilee, you're going to have very little understanding if you're seeking understanding of the priesthood, how it works, the heavens and how they work, all of those things. We don't leave those books out because, again, it bears witness to what the 66 book canon is clearly telling us, right? So why would we leave out truth?
Exactly. It's important, guys. So Enoch really expounds on the heavens and the things that he saw with the walls that are built off of crystal and the 10,000 times 10,000, so on and so forth, amount of angels that he witnessed, and the holies and the saints and the four archangels that stand at the four corners of the earth, one of them being Yeshua, Phanuel, and how the four blessed the elect that made it through, everything. It's so important because literally the book of Enoch just lays it out thick. And once, you study this stuff, and the 66 book canon makes total much more sense. Like so much more sense.
All right. Well, I think that this is we're right at the 4-hour mark. We're at 3 hours and 56 minutes. I have to go get my son. Guys, I really appreciate you guys again coming up and reading and helping out. I think this is going to be a great video to upload for anybody that might have missed it. So if anybody came in late and you're feeling like, oh man, I missed everything, no, I'm going to upload this. And also I uploaded the teaching we did last night on Deuteronomy 32, Deuteronomy 28. That is up. And tomorrow I'll look to do the teaching on Vimeo, because I did say we were going to do that today, and then I took like a poll today and everybody said, no, let's do it on live. So hopefully this was a treat for everybody. As far as I was only planning on doing 1 hour today on Vimeo. And if you haven't already gone and checked out the music on Patreon, please go listen to it. It's free. If you like it, you can leave a comment there about maybe what types of styles of music that you prefer. I'm trying to see if I can get a praise and worship album out there, and not just a praise and worship album. I'm going to be working on like an alternative type of album as well, because I prefer that type of music. It'll be a little bit of metal, but there'll be a praise and worship, and then there's kind of just like a record that I'm making that's specifically based on things that I've gone through. And I also put on there that if anybody's going through anything that they would love to hear put in a song, yeah, I definitely don't get into gangster rap. That's not my thing. I know that's a joke, but any type of thing that you might have gone through, I've been writing for years and years. Not heavy metal, Vessel of Yah, but like a Linkin Park type of sound, more alternative type sound to it. But it's not going to have all that garbage and trash in it, guys. It's going to be based around the things that we go through and how Yahweh pulls us out of them. So feel free to check those out. Also, while we're still here, for those of you that have not seen, you can go check out our website, which is right here. This, again, is packed with information. It'll lead you to all the teachings and other things as well. Candace, thank you for always posting all of this stuff and keeping people in the know, and for posting scripture. You're a huge blessing. All of my moderators as well. Thank all of you guys. And I think we're going to call it right here at the 4-hour mark, fellas.
Awesome.
I love you, brothers, and I love all my brothers and sisters out there. And we will talk soon.
Love you, bro.
Shalom, guys. Have a great day. See you guys
Shalom, guys.
tomorrow sometime.
All righty. Bye-bye.